Welcome to FMK Anime. I'm your host, Meep, joined by my co-hosts, Makan and Dalaron. Say hi.
Oh,
Oh, Makan, you go first. Why don't you tell them where they can find you and how unwell you're feeling?
hello, I am Makan, the Plague Bearer. Yeah, that's all the titles I really feel like giving you right now. You can find me on at that_Viking on Twitter, where I do nothing but post possum sometimes, and then come fight me in the woods.
And funny reverse gifs and images and videos.
And dunking on the American health system.
That's
That
also
is
fair.
That is, I mean, that's fair. That's always fair. And hi everyone. As always, Dalaron Quest here. You can catch me on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter at Dalaron Quest. DALARON Quest. Yeah, week 4, boys.
Yeah.
There's it's gonna be an interesting week to talk about.
As always, thanks to the TFS crew for allowing us to do this. This has been a very fun and great experience. And just to explain what FMK Anime is, each week we watch 7 anime, and at the end of the week we can decide to cut one anime. We decide through if we either fuck or kill the show. And let's just jump in with our first show. Vivy Fluorite Eyes, Episode 6. Vivy saves members of Toke. However, there were still casualties. She confronts the doctor, who reveals the original Grace was used as the core of the float. Unable to save her data, Vivy destroys Grace. The doctor later kills himself, and we see something change within Vivy. As the first human she is, as he is the first human she has ever been the direct cause of death for.
So two things.
I wouldn't say
Three things,
direct loss, but alright.
3 things. 1, we keep saying Vivy Fluorite Eyes, but the actual full title of the anime is Vivy Fluorite Eyes Song. 2, fuck. And 3rd, I do hope someone gets that phone, because I fucking called it!
I was the one that called it, you motherfucker.
We called it. That's fine. We can share the credit.
This episode was so heartbreaking and tragic, and unlike the Estella incident, it wasn't bittersweet. There was no happy ending.
There's no happy ending here at all. It all hurts, and I actually am choosing not to use the broken Vivy picture because it just hurts my heart.
You coward.
Metaphorical and physical blood on her hands of Grace and Dr. Seiki. My heart.
It hurts, man. I mean, I said in, like, episode 2, right? Like, I think I get where this show's gonna take us, where it's just going to, like, set up just bittersweet situations that have heartbreaking endings. And it keeps delivering on it, I'll give it that.
You say that like you think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I knew you were going to fall for that.
But it's not. It does it very well, and I absolutely adore this episode because there's so much symbolism and so many themes you can pull from it, like how Diva and Vivy are. So Diva and Vivy are essentially alter egos at this point, right? Because Vivy is the AI whose mission is to stop the war between AIs, and Diva is the AI whose mission is to bring happiness through singing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like, and I love how contradictory their missions were in this episode. Because to prevent heartbreak and turmoil from happening in the future, Vivy had to take away happiness in the now, which directly went against her mission. And I think that's why we saw like her. Well, obviously, there's also the mental turmoil, but I think that's partially why we saw something actually like physically happening to her rather than just mentally, because we see like the red ring of death.
Her AI indicating, like, her AI power button fluctuates, but yeah.
So I know you have a lot of praise for this, but always being the cynical motherfucker I am, Seemingly you two liked it and you called it, but why the fuck was Grace used as the core for Metal Floats?
There's gonna be something to do with like my thoughts on this. Like my theory is that like there's gonna be something to do with like Diva being the progenitor of like like AI development, and that her sister models carry like I mean they said that like oh like after Grace's not Grace yeah Grace and Elizabeth's wait yeah Elizabeth's and Estella's like noble sacrifice and this great feat of like humanity by these AIs, they started paying attention to the sister model of AIs way more, and like apparently she had they thought that my theory is that they thought that Grace had the most capacity to love humanity and like want what's best for the world, so they used her.
I get that, but I mean, at the same time, the sister models aren't a limited thing. Why didn't they just build another one and give it the same mission that Grace has, and then
Yep.
throw it in there?
You mean like how they
It's
did with Estella and Beth?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
cheaper
mean,
cheaper to use an old one rather than to build a new one. Because
uh,
like the autonomous AI are supplied with supplies from this metal float. Without the metal float, they're probably extremely more expensive to make.
sure, but at the same time, they still needed to put a new AI in the place that Grace worked. So I mean, it's kind of like
No,
fucking pull away from one area to put into another area. It's just you might as well just build another one.
they don't build a new AI. They just rewrite Grace's mission, which is rewriting their soul.
But Makan's saying that that's really extra and unfucking necessary.
Yep. And the only reason it happened is because the doctor was in love with it, and otherwise it wouldn't have happened.
Why is it unnecessary? Why is it extra?
Because they could have built a new sister model, they could have built a new sister model and imported Grace's data into her. There's so many options within the world to have avoided this this tragic situation.
Well, remember, okay, two things to remember. One, again, without the metal float, the autonomous AI were extremely difficult to make. Where they even say, without when the metal float is, shut down, autonomous AI will basically it'll be hard for them to function. And the second
Sure,
thing,
but I
second
mean,
thing
they're still
to remember,
fucking everywhere.
They really are. Do you remember how many like attendants there are? Also, we lower our volumes. Do you remember how or turn on crisp? Do you remember how many attendants there were in the theme park alone? And like theme parks are known for cutting corners wherever they can.
are those autonomous AI though?
Yes.
I don't, I don't think they are.
They all are. Even the fucking worker robots were.
I don't think they are. And the second thing to remember, to the people who make these AI, they're just robots. Like it's even said that in the other timeline, if things were the same way in the other timeline, they were going to have to break Grace and Seiki up because people weren't ready for a human and AI relationship. The people
No.
likely didn't care.
No. It was said that people were mad about it, but their relationship sparked. They were the first AI and human relationship, not the only AI human relationship. That
Yeah, no.
implies, yeah.
But Matsumoto did say that if things were different, they were going to have to stop the relationship instead of actually doing what they were doing this time.
Uh,
Yes, and
He
this
did say
time,
that.
and this time, Grace and Psyche never got to get married because she was taken away before they got married. So it's pretty. I'm pretty sure the relationship was never made public. So of course, the people who made the metal float wouldn't care because there hadn't been this tinge of like new change brought about.
I bring up like basically the doctor. Well, I basically did this the thing of like, oh, I'm so lonely. I'm gonna date my body pillow or something.
Yeah, in the beginning, I was a little weird on it too. It's like, oh, your mom left you, and now you're. I mean, like, understandable. Like, kid's gonna be traumatized. You're gonna have abandonment issues, but now you're gonna marry the robot that kind of took her place, the AI who took her place. But in the end, it kind of turned to a much more wholesome and genuine. Like, I kind of came around to it myself. It was just Grace was expressing a level of agency that was like very genuine and her own, and I thought it was really sweet. Like I completely understand why their relationship is something that is sympathetic, empathetic, and something like desire, like it's that something we desire to save.
I mean, I also kind of like I didn't have a problem with it, but in the back of my mind, it's also that always that lingering thing. Like, if this was the real world, that look, they would, like it would just be like laughing at him for essentially marrying his waifu for real.
And I'm sure that is exactly what was happening in the original timeline where it did come through.
Which it's
Basically.
just an extra. It's just an extra layer of tragedy. The by technicality, Vivian Matsumoto did keep them from getting married because changing the timeline kind of fucked it up.
Matsumoto is a bitch.
What do you mean? Matsumoto did nothing wrong.
I remember watching the episode and just like being like, smells like a bitch in here.
I do really love the part when Vivy is like, "No, but we can save her," and Matsumoto goes, "Is this singing? Does this sound like singing to you?" And just we
Yeah,
get that little bit insight in Vivy. And Vivy, who wrote this song, Vivy, who's been trying to learn what it means to sing with your heart, and did learn what she thinks it is to through Estella, or at least a part of what she thinks it is through Estella. Just real, she would be the one to know that this isn't singing. If anything, these are cries of pain.
yeah,
That was
no.
so heartbreaking.
The what they did with the song was really fucking good this episode because she's singing the opening song, right? And it's Grace is heartbreaking because she's like, I mean, I did laugh when it was like, it's a welcoming song. I'm like, yep, it's the opening song of the show, which technically qualifies as a welcoming song. Good job, show. And then like gods, the distorted singing from the phone was terrifying when it was first introduced. Like this show does distortion really, really well. It does the uncanny and horrifying effect of distortion the way I wish I could do with my voice when doing voice acting or kind of DMing to kind of just create this terrifying sensation that something is very, very wrong. Familiar, yet so wrong.
Yep, the distortion and the creepiness factor of that is still probably the best part about the show, in my opinion, because fucking hell is it wild how good that is.
Mm-hmm. Sound design, the show's
Also,
very well done.
Also, we got a little bit from a not a whole lot. It's like a little flash of him and someone playing the piano, but we got a little bit from Tokoi.
Yeah, which makes me feel like the show's gonna make us care about him and be like, oh, he used to have a father and then his father left him for an AI, or I don't know, like some like his father died or
I
something.
I mean, sure, but the feeling I get is just like, oh, you said something that reminded me of when I played piano as a kid. Now I'm helping you instead. It's just like, okay, fuck.
Yeah,
Well,
that would
the way he
suck.
talks, it's not that he's a. So this is going to be a weird comparison. To me, he just seems like a really hardcore conservative who has a specific way he thinks AI should be. Because he's like, no, AIs are only supposed to have one mission. They were never supposed to do a mission that wasn't theirs. Like just the way he talks, it doesn't sound like he wants AIs to die. It sounds like he wants them to stay the way they are. He wants them to stay in tradition, which is what
My
was actually
my
true.
dude, he is the dude that's like, AI don't have rights, and I'm willing to kill people or blow buildings up and commit domestic terrorism to prove my
Yeah.
political ideals.
Also, Dalron, you said that would suck. It's not that would suck. That sucks because that is what happened. He fucking decided to help Vivy by shooting a robot that was pitting her against the fucking wall.
after being traumatized by her. I mean, his whole
Yeah.
shtick was just always questionable to me. But I wanted there to be a payoff for him to just fucking lose his shit this time, because like he was he's at the heart of every fucking issue that has been coming up on the timeline. I trust the show. The show has built up enough good faith with me to like I feel like there's going to be a payoff for all of this setup. But as it stands in the moment, it's a little dumb. Like this dude has like this massive hate boner for Vivy because she saved his life, and I get it. Like as a raging, narrow-minded, conservative, hurting individual, he can't. The idea that the thing that he's so against actually being good doesn't make him come around, only makes him rage harder. Yeah, we've seen that recently, actually, at least in my country, and to see, yeah, she saved his life again, and I thought he was gonna have a whole fucking mental breakdown. And like, the dude obviously has guts. He's obviously an extremist because he blew up the door he was next to, literally taking shell shock. And then in this case, like his ribs and organs have been fucked up, and he just stands up to. I thought he was about to punch Vivy in the face, and I'm like, listen, I respect this guy's tenacity, this fucking mad lad, but he also realized that in this situation, he also realized, yes, he helped Vivi, but he also realized that he needs her help if he's going to save his friends.
Yeah.
Also, oh, sorry.
I'd say something about Toke Boy. Like, Vivi, what the show it is, needs a really strong antagonist. I don't think Toke Boy is that, and like it or not, he is our primary antagonist at this point.
Yeah, but with anime, with any season of anime, that could change. Yeah, go ahead.
I'd say the war is the primary antagonist, actually.
War.
I mean,
Blue's
but
concept that we can't put a face on, and the primary antagonist is Toke Boy because he's basically the face of that issue.
Yeah, I mean, the whole
like,
Toke situation is weird because where the fuck are they getting their funding from? And I've always said that Toke Boy, our commander, is just the weakest part of the show.
where do IRL terrorists get their funding from? Who knows?
Primary world
Although,
governments hoping to destabilize a region.
one thing I'm curious about with Tokeboy is because we saw how fucked up his arm was. It looks like he had like another arm attached to his own. Like when he pulled out the gun, you saw like this scar. It looked like he
Yeah,
had
what the
another arm.
fuck was that?
I have a theory. So you say that he cut off the chunk of skin where Vivi's blood fell, or what if it was his commander that did that as a punishment for him getting saved by an AI? Because there was that commander in episode 2, and he's like, "Sir, I got saved by an AI." I think that they might get punished whenever something goes wrong like that.
I don't know. I kind of in my the way I understood what happened was the main dude that in the first arc got arrested, and then he became kind of the leader of Toke. But there's probably someone even higher up than him that we haven't seen. The thing is though, like this show doesn't show its whole hand, and that's okay. Like it's refreshing that we can sit here and talk for 15 minutes guessing about what's gonna happen and what are the implications of what has happened. Like I think that's a good thing. Too many shows are quick to like play all their cards at the front in order to hook the audience. Uh, so I don't know. Like it's purely speculation on my part.
But the issue I have with that is that if you don't show your hand, but your hand is just full of the same card, it doesn't really matter. It still gets predictable if the thing you can do in every arc they do after every time skip is imagine the most tragic thing, and that's what's gonna happen.
I don't know, man. In this case, like I'm genuinely curious to see the next episode because of how Vivi. I need to see what happens with Vivi at this point.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole thing with formula equals bad. If that's the case, then JoJo's would be the biggest example of that because every stand battle is formulaic. They meet stand user. they fight stand user until they find weakness to exploit profit.
Well, you
Well,
see, every fight has another way of completing it, and yeah, I mean, tragedy is death is always just death, and sure, it happens in different ways, but I mean, eh,
yeah,
And the tragedy has a story.
with JoJo's, like JoJo's is without a doubt formulaic, but they do a lot of fun with the formula, which is why it stays interesting. The fights get absolutely crazy, from the animations to the voice acting to the Stan's abilities, and then to the strategies implemented each time. Like that is the joy of JoJo's. In this case, yeah, it is tragedy. Like, this show is without a doubt a tragedy, and I have already emotionally braced myself with the previous arc with Estella. I'm just like, I even said it last week. Like, how is this show gonna break my heart this time? And yeah, show is it's it's feel bad. It really is, but it's not in a way like another show on our list where it's like, look how bad everything is. Please laugh. Nor is it like feeling bad for the sake of feeling bad. There is an actual story here. There is actual content. There's merit, and then there's things that are happening and occurring. These characters reacting this way, to an extent, makes sense.
And there
also,
are happy moments in it. Like Estella and Elizabeth, while their death, sad as viewers, it was honestly the happiest ending we got because they got reunited. They finally got to perform a task with each other, and they got to live for their mission.
I mean, considering how abundant the tragedy is, you can have some wins, and otherwise it's just going to be a tragedy fest.
Yeah, at
I
that
don't
point, it would just be a miserable show. But it is a little concerning that, like, now at this point I'm watching the show, like, any good moment that does come up, I'm like, okay, don't buy into it fully because it's going to get turned around on me. And that's okay.
know. Yep.
That's not a bad thing. It's just, this is a show you have to go in ready to getting your feelings hurt, and there is merit to that, and it's been doing it well. But
Fun.
hmm?
I was just gonna say, fun fact: the next time on did not show Vivy at all, so keeping what's happening with her mysterious.
Fascinating. So I'm really excited for next episode, but we'll talk about that in the ending when we hold up cards. Before that, though, we haven't talked about literally the worst part of this episode. There are now 25 Matsumotos, if not more, and that, my friends, is a fucking tragedy. I,
I
I'm,
love Moto.
I am very concerned that there's a horde of Matsumotos now. This can only end in bad times.
You say that, but my issue is that he formed into the ugliest fucking vehicle I've ever fucking
It
seen.
was so dumb. The whole scene was so fucking dumb. Don't get me wrong. Some of the moments were like it only made it better and dumber because there was like specific scenes in that like Tron-esque chase that were like legitimately cool and well animated, but the majority of it was so fucking dumb.
Oh, yeah, it was very cool animated, but like, why were the robots jumping off the fucking building?
Fucking all the M's just fucking suicide torpedo themselves.
She
Listen, they're just
got to know get up there. I don't fucking know.
And the best, like I was watching that scene when all the M bots were like tossing themselves off. I'm like, Vivy, just fly up, not up vertically, but like horizontally, like move away from the building and then fly into it. Also, Meep, what were we saying?
I was saying they're just hand grenades.
They really, I mean, they are kind of shaped like grenade. They also look that's what it is. They remind me of like the Android logo, like the Android little bot. But yeah, no. The bike scene it was cool, but it was so dumb. Like the CG was bad. Like, and that's okay. Like the show doesn't need to have good CG. The show does eyes and like those close ups really well. And honestly, the action's been looking pretty good. There's a couple of scenes like when Vivy dives down the tower for the first time, and they kind of like have this zooming in shot at like this sweeping zoom in on her that looks really really good. But for the most part, not the best looking part of the show. However, I didn't even realize all those flowing red lights were drones. I thought I didn't know what the fuck those were. And then when they just turn into a cloud of just death, I was like, oh fuck.
I One part about the scene I do want to mention when they finally get to Grace and how emaciated, or not emaciated, but how like just seeing her hooked up to it makes you sad because it's you know what she really wanted, but being an AI, she can't disobey. And when Vivy finally kills her, that's the first time you see that Grace smile because she's frowning until Vivy puts the hand through her chest. Then you just see the smile on her face. It's just like, my heart.
Yeah, I don't. I personally don't recall that detail, but like, agreed. And that's the thing. The show. So I was worried we're gonna get a Project Overlord situation from Mass Effect, and I won't go into it because spoilers. But uh, that is still like the most difficult video game like RPG decision I've ever had to make. Like I put down the controller and had to walk away for an hour to and more actually to think about what the implications are in a greater scheme. This show doesn't have easy answers. This one was probably the grayest of and most blurred of lines in terms of that decision because like Grace isn't okay. She's not having a good time, and this is very much putting personal feelings over the greater good into question. And even more so for Vivi, right? Like the ending is really sad and chilling and really discomforting, and to that I say good job, show. Also, I hated that the song, like the nice pleasant song, was playing throughout the whole exchange between Vivi and the fake Grace spot, and the like that that didn't feel good at all, and that was their intention, but man did that feel bad. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? When Vivi confronts the doctor, being like, "What the fuck? You told me this is a shutdown program." He's like, "I'm trying to save my wife," and then they had that little. Well, it was barely a fight because Vivi destroyed the secondary
Yep.
Grace. But it was intentionally bloody, right? Like it was not a good scene. All of like again, like often making the right decision, which we don't even know if Vivi made the right decision, requires doesn't often does not feel good.
I
Well,
mean,
I shouldn't say
I
often.
I
Yeah,
can say this about the show, even though I have my complaints. It doesn't set out to say that it's done the right decision. It certainly makes decisions.
yeah, yeah. I honestly think we know Matsumoto had the wrong call, but I also expect Vivi to make the wrong call a few times. So we'll see how
Yep.
it
I
goes.
the last thing I do want to bring up is I love how this song that's supposed to be really like happy, really like welcoming, the way it's being sang with the distortion just makes it sound so creepy and eerie, almost perverting the song. It's like, yeah, no, this isn't the way I sang this song. This isn't the way the robots sang the song. This is pain. Like I just, my heart.
They didn't
Can
mention
I hope?
any. They never mentioned anything about pain. They just said it was sound data,
Which kind of
Well, I know, but
it's soulless. It's soulless.
yeah,
yeah.
it's implied.
Which implies no pain. It means lack of anything. Um,
Grace wasn't singing.
yeah. I do have a side topic I want to bring up. Like, right beforehand. Like go to cards. Meep, when you say stand battles are formulaic, do you mean like with the consistency they show up, or the fights themselves?
I'm saying how all the stand battles are they fight stand user. They fight until person on JoJo's team starts losing. Then JoJo's team finds out how to exploit their weakness, profit. At least that's how they've all been in season 3. I
I
can't
mean,
speak for season 4 or 5 yet, but I've
sure, if you break it down, sure. But I mean, I can compare two of them right now. One of them is trying to figure out how to fight someone while he's trying to drown you, and the other one is gambling with your fucking soul and just bluffing your way out of it. I mean, it's fucking whatever.
We could talk JoJo's another time. Shall we hold up cards, boys?
saying formulaic isn't bad. This show does, the tragedy formulaically, but each has a different story, has a different tragedy within it, and some are sad, some are happy.
Yeah, I
And
mean, things work with formula, in my opinion. Some things don't.
I'll go ahead and hold up my card first. I'm gonna fuck this episode. It was a phenomenal episode, my second favorite so far. Hard to beat episode 4, but it's so good. This show is amazing. It is anime of the year material, and the only show that is struggling for my favorite this season isn't even on this list. And that's To Your Eternity, which is also really good.
Yeah, I'll go next. I'm also gonna fuck this episode. This show is tragic, and personally, I am not a fan of just like watching things for this, like watching things that are like intentionally designed to be bad and feel bad. But this show understands tragedy and I think executes it quite well. There are often parts.
Dal, you cut out.
Damn it. Where did I cut out?
Often part.
There are often times in life where like things like are not going to go well, and I often enjoy seeing tragedy explored in media. I do it myself whenever I write or DM, and it's great to see this medium, anime in particular, which has done tragedy quite well. We focus on characters here, we focus on stories and pain, and it's just, I think this show understands tragedy well and executes it well. Music wise, it's interesting, sound design, it's good. I agree, episode 4 of this series is still my favorite. You all will almost certainly see that on our best episode of the season awards when we get to our awards at the end of at the end of the season. But I'm gonna fuck this episode. I'm hoping we get like a unique opening visual, like visually every other episode at the end beginning of every arc. Because it just seems like the second episode is our generic opening, which is still cool. But yeah, no. Like I've been saying multiple times throughout our talk, this episode has me. I'm very, very curious to see what they do with Vivy. Now that this has happened and she is having a fucking breakdown.
Almost every show needs tragedy to actually build up a story. And if you're not going to have tragedy in your story, it's going to be a very unconventional story, to say the least. This show has used a lot of tragedy in my opinion, apart from the two of you, I don't think it's done well in any way.
Mm.
I I can argue that it's actually done it pretty alright with the doctor, because we actually got to see what he was thinking about. He told us something instead of being a happy person who had fun things in their life before getting killed. He was a person struggling to get back what he lost, and when it was lost, he decided it wasn't a reason to go on anymore. I think that death was finally one that was set up properly and made a lot of sense.
Mm.
More so than any of them, as it didn't feel like the show was simply killing them because they were happy. He killed himself because he couldn't go on with what he had done
Mm. Mm.
and what he had lost. And that gives me some hope for the future of what the show might do, and I hope it moves away from the things it has been doing. I'm also interested to see what Vivy's going to react with the way she's been doing all this. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck this episode, but I can visually and combat wise, I can agree that episode 4 was great, but I still think the first one was good because that's where before the glaring issues I have with the show showed up.
Fair enough. So that's a trifecta for Vivy Fluorite Eye's song.
Trifecta. Let's move on to Super Cup, episode 2, as we change the visual.
Episode
And
2.
in this episode, or episode 4, sorry. In this episode, Tokuma starts a courier job for the Yakuza, the school. She meets a friendly teacher at another school, learns what rain is, and learns how to change oil on her bike. She finishes her last day on the job and is happy.
Speaking of a show that does not need tragedy.
but I think it's gonna get some tragedy simply with the lore of the Super Cub.
Do you really think
And
the show's gonna pull that?
I can't see it happening with how it's going, but I expect their show to sideline me. I am expecting that so fucking hard.
I think Vivy has made you paranoid, my friend.
It's not that I tend to view it separately because every show does things differently, but just the history that the bike has killed was 2 or 3 people
I
before.
think 3.
Yeah, like that is a fucking setup and a half. And for me to not have that in the back of my mind at all times and think they're gonna deliver on that, no, that's gonna sit there.
If this show,
What I
yeah, go ahead, me.
I was gonna say what we didn't see was after she left the school for the last time, there was bloody track marks and the dead tomboy teacher in the classroom.
Shut up, me.
By the way, she wasn't a teacher. She was she's
she was
part
a
of a
teacher?
club. No, she was part of a club.
No, she was the faculty director of the literature club.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she was part of the literature club and did like extra work there.
No. She was a faculty leader. But yeah, they couldn't fucking pay her. They what the fuck? Pay her gas expenses at least. Like, come on.
Let me read.
Yeah,
Not at the same time.
Let me. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, me.
Okay, 2,000 yen per round trip. That's $23 Canadian and $18.5 USD. However, gas comes out of that, and the trip is an hour and a half. A Super Cub holds 1 gallon, and 1 gallon lasts 1.5 to 2 hours. 1 gallon of gas is around $1.50 CDN or 155 yen. So in each trip, that would yield around 1,845 yen. However, this is not covering for oil and other maintenance. So as a rough estimate, she's getting paid about $15 Canadian per round trip, $10 USD, which takes 2 hours, and she has twice a day. Girl, you should just stick to your unemployment benefits because you're getting scammed.
Well, I think she gets her like.
Hold on.
I think she gets both.
I am amazed right now. Me.
No, the reason I put so much thought into this is because I thought she was paying them for a bit. Because I'm like, wait, gas expenses are going to cover that. A bike can't hold that much gas. Is she losing money doing this? So I went and did the math. Like, okay, 1 gas is only like $1. 1 gallon is only like $1.50. All right.
Yeah, I remember her saying either 150 or 500 yen. It costs 500 or 150 yen in episode 1 to fill up my tank. But, like, I'm just amazed that you would put in this work to break this down like that. Thank you. Wow.
I mean, if anything, she's still in school, and any extra money is always helpful when you're in school. I mean, I don't know about you, but like $50 when you're still in school is a lot of fucking money.
But she couldn't go and find a job at a convenience store that would pay minimum wage.
Well, she's getting paid to do what she wants to do, which is ride her cub. So I think it just works out for her, and she's happy with that.
Yeah.
Get a pizza delivery job.
Remember that she's also very anxious. She's very bashful, reserved, and anxious, and like she went to her school counselor, I assume, or someone in her school that deals with this kind of stuff, and just did something that was familiar and, like Makan said, facilitated what she wants to do.
Here's the thing as well, though, about her getting a pizza delivery job. Not a possibility. She lives in a rural town, and speaking from experience with trying to use an app like that as someone who lives rurally, that doesn't happen.
It's not even an app. A lot of places are family run, and they have their kids doing their deliveries for them.
Yeah, no, I mean, there might be like a pizzeria or something out there, but I doubt it. And even so, the town seems small enough that if they want one, they could just walk there. I don't think they would do delivery service.
Then go start running drugs for the Yakuza, or something that pays better.
Speaking
do that either. She doesn't live in Tokyo.
Listen, speaking of being fucking extra, Reiko is so fucking extra when she's like, you're a courier. That means you're going to be delivering top secret documents funded by the government. I'm just like, you fucking nerd. You fucking
what does she
dweeb.
What does she say when she's leaving? Like, she's like, I'm going somewhere I've never gone before.
It's very far, yet very close. Like, you
Yeah,
just went to the mountains, didn't you?
basically. I mean, also with they're starting to speak about Courier and like our top secret documents. I mean, fucking Big Iron just started playing in my head.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The
Man,
Akudama opening will play.
Sorry, go ahead. Akutama Drive open. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Akudama, drive your Super Cub to the next town.
Oh my god, this is the beginning. Oh my god, she's Courier's and Swindler's child. But yeah, regarding her job, she was so painfully formal in the beginning. It hurt. And then when she
Say
gets
that, but
caught in, oh yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
you say that, but I mean, it's pretty common to be overly formal in Japan. It's just what you do in a business transaction.
Yes, but like the teacher was obviously like seeing that she was uncomfortable and was trying to like be nice to her, and she was just constantly super formal because she doesn't know how else to be.
Yeah.
Also, the poor
That,
bean getting caught in the fucking rain,
Yeah.
and all the color got washed out with it. It went back to being like very muted, and I'm like, oh no.
by the way, that teacher, easy waifu.
Oh yeah, she's yeah,
Cute AF.
cute AF, cute AF.
I
Tom
I,
for girlfriend.
I have a friend. I have a friend who's like really into tomboys. I just sent him that picture and said, "This is a threat." And they just sent me.
I know exactly who you're talking about. It's true, chat. Pizza is not that big in Japan, but it's for us Westerners that is like the equivalent, like pizza delivery boy. Like literally, that's the job description here. But yeah, for
Yeah, I
there it would
mean,
be like like local restaurants, drink shop that we saw.
yeah, and with how rural her town seems to be, and I mean,
Yeah, we
kind of
don't even
seems
have a McDonald's.
kind of seems to be the size and different scale of my own hometown, which is like there is nothing here. Like where I live, we have a gas station, and that is it.
Yeah, she has a gas station, a convenience store, a supermarket, a nice supermarket, and a hardware store. Also, I
Yeah,
love
I
that
mean,
we
you what?
see her go past the things that she already went to, just constantly like being shown how
Yeah,
she's going past her where past her, constantly going past what she's experienced and experiencing new things. I think that's a really nice touch the show does.
yeah. I mean, small towns tend to have some sort of convenience store, a hardware store, and a gas station. Um, Most of the time, all in one, like my town does. But it's by that knowledge that that's just about everything they have there. This feels like a town that's just kind of like a pit stop on a road between two big places instead, and it's really nowhere special.
I mean, it has its own school, so it's a little bit more than that, but it's
I mean,
definitely
so
small town Japan.
yeah, I mean, my hometown also has a school, but it's not a big school that is very important.
Hmm.
But real talk, did the government have to place her in like the most rural buttfuck nowhere place, or is this where her parents lived before they presumably died? Question mark.
I think with that house, I think it was definitely where her parents lived beforehand.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
What
what
if,
that's why.
what if her parents were killed by the Super Cub?
Dun dun dun. I'm glad we went for the same joke, Makan.
Yeah, yeah.
I, I will be honest. This has been the only episode I've enjoyed so far, and it's mostly on the back of the teacher. I'll be honest.
I was about to say,
Like
like, yeah, this show's a slow burn.
the teacher is just so painfully like real and down to earth, and I love her. She's my wife.
Why, fool?
Yeah, Dalaran, the show is such a slow burn. It's not even a burn at all. It's a pleasantly warm bath.
Yeah, it's a bath or at most a simmer.
I
Speaking of
also like
just
how
pleasant things. Oh yeah, go ahead, Meep.
I was gonna say I also like how we got to see Reiko and Koguma in new hairstyles.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I'll switch it over since we're done talking about. Oh yeah, yeah. Like by the way, like your first. I'm surprised the show didn't talk about it before I switched stills. I'm surprised the show didn't like address this, but like your first ride in the rain is usually quite nerve wracking. Not because you're getting wet, but because she doesn't have large wheels on her bike. She doesn't have large wheels on her scooter, so like she could have easily slipped up. But on the other hand, she usually does 20, 30 maximum, which is
She does 30 on the regular now.
yeah, that's cruising speed. So there really isn't much of
Yeah,
a threat of her slipping up unless something jumps out
I
in
mean,
front of her.
right before it started raining, like something about it. I don't remember who said it, but like something put in her mind that she should start speeding up, and then it started raining. I'm like, dear God, don't speed up now.
Yeah, Reiko like put it in her mind like go feast, but then it's like or was it the fact? No, I think it was the fact that which is who I was gonna lead into. The old man mechanic is just like you ride her very gentle, almost too gentle. Which I'm like, oh boy, Reiko's about to not Reiko. Toguma's about to hit 60 on the freeway. Um,
Gentle criminal.
but the whole scene with the rain is really pretty. Not just because sad drenched precious bean, but because God, when the color got fucking washed away in her house, like no, she's having such a bad time. And then she
Wet
went
and
to get
miserable.
go.
Wet and miserable.
Yeah,
No
just
happy anymore. Color gone.
yeah. And then she went to the fucking like bike store and girl, I feel you. That was expensive.
Oh fuck! I forgot to mention something.
What's up?
Okay, just quick side note. I don't mean to just bring up the show more, but I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was really cool. Voice actress for Vivy, also voice actress for Chise in Ancient Magus Bride. I just want to throw that out there.
That is true. She's come a long way.
Um, Also another thing, her now having more spendable money and not being very cautious with the little money she has, she's starting to eat better food, and
She
I'm
is
happy.
She is. She got herself a nice meal to celebrate getting a job, and if that's not relatable content, I don't know what is.
Look at the color! Ah!
Yeah, maybe Tora will treat her to some of that really good looking McDonald's.
No. And
Fucking
then
cute nap!
go ahead.
Fucking cute nap she is! Look at that precious smile! God damn!
I when she completed her job for the first time, did both of you catch how the color got even more saturated and just like richer? And I'm like, more color.
Yes!
I'll be honest, I didn't even notice the color drain when the rain happened. I just thought that was a product of it getting darker.
Yeah, no, it was we got even more color. More. And then the rain came and just washed it all away. But in the end, we were okay because she regained it. And also at the end, friendship, guys. Oh, Reiko hit her up. She's like, "Hey, come over. I want to tell you about my trip." And she's like, "Okay."
And
Also,
now
I was
I'm just gonna say this. I am so excited that we're all excited about this episode of Super Cup that we're talking over each other. Makan, go.
I was so expecting that to pull the fucking like fucking cliche thing of like, oh yeah, let's go to her place. She was just gonna live in a mansion, but it was equally fucking absurd because she lives in a log cabin.
No, but like that place is nice. She has like from floor to ceiling glass doors. Like Reiko's chilling.
Just a fucking log cabin on the side of the road is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I actually meant to ask you this. Does Reiko remind you of Yaoyorozu at all?
Yeah, why is that name familiar? From what show?
Creation girl from My Hero.
Yeah.
A little bit, but she's. I can see where you're coming from. They have similar eye structure and hair, but like, also, just gonna say, yes, I know she's young, but Reiko's pretty. Reiko's super pretty.
I mean,
But
fucking.
Oh, I'm calling the police.
I can see where you're coming from with Yaoyorozu.
Sure, there's cool and everything. I mean, Kokoma's adorable. I love her. She's fucking fantastic.
Kokoma is adorable. She's so cute. Yeah, she does little pigtails, and then she's too before we talk about the old man mechanic, which is what I want to lead up to, which isn't a long tangent, I just want to appreciate the old man. He tightened it like a mechanic would, and for this little girl who doesn't work out, she's just like, she can't get the fucking lug nut off, she can't get the bolt off, and I just found that funny.
Yeah, no, I remember that at like my first job. People always came and complained about when he tightened the bolt so fucking hard. Stop.
I can't believe this is where the tag of romance comes in. It wasn't Koguma and the bike after all. It was Koguma and Reiko. It's gonna be tragic 8 episodes in when Koguma cheats on Reiko with Reiko's bike.
As I shove Meep's face out of the frame. By
Remember
the way,
when this? Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. You can retort.
Remember the anime was first announced, it did have the tag romance before they took it off, realizing that was a wrong idea.
They didn't have romance.
I don't remember that, but okay, my anime list.
I feel like that might have just been an honest mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was just funny because I remember when I first looked at through all the shows, like back in I think it was around the middle of winter, and I saw this one. It was romance. I'm like, huh, okay.
Also, I just want to poke some fun at Meep. Meep slightly starts enjoying a show. Meep, what if lesbians?
No, I don't. I was making a joke about how it used to have the romance tag.
I know, but still.
And I don't think they're lesbians. I think the bikes are boys, so they're at least bi.
Okay. Shut the fuck up, Meep.
No.
If anybody wants to time machine and double check us, you're all welcome to. But in the meantime, yeah, it was a super cute scene. Correct me if I'm wrong, Makan, but like oil changing like that is something you have to do for your manual bikes, right? Automatic bikes don't have that compartment.
I mean, you're talking like me, like I've ever actually owned a bike. I've been over this. I actually own a motorcycle.
Do you mean for Harley Davidsons? Because I can answer that question.
Yeah, no. For Harleys, that it's a part of it. You do need to get it tuned up and oil changed. I took a lot of care of my bike, but like my scooter, I was just like filling up the gas tank, and I never really brought it in for certain X amount of mileage upkeep.
But
it was
my dad would know. I could go bully him to come downstairs for a minute.
Nah, it's fine.
No, but I mean, considering it's sponsored by Honda, I feel like most of the facts are, if not all of the facts, are going to be accurate.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I'm not saying that. I was just wondering if automatics have that because I must have neglected my scooter. If automatics have that as well.
I mean, even if that's the case, I don't know if we don't really do automatics in Sweden, so if I had a scooter, it would probably be a manual anyway.
I just want to say, yesterday when I was applying at car dealerships, I went to a Honda dealership, and I did see a Super Cub, and I was just saying, like, I looked at its price, I'm like, fuck. No, I'm not spending 10 grand.
Oof.
Why didn't you like look around and look sad until the old man shopkeeper came out?
It was actually a younger woman. She was actually younger than me, a year younger.
You went
went to
the wrong dealership, mate. You need to go to where the old kind man is, that it will support you and help you get the cup for you. Also, I love the old man. He's just best old man.
I can't wait for
like it's the feeling you only get with like local stores and mechanics and stuff, and like small owned stuff, that they are so personal and so like knowledgeable. I mean, I've grown up in this town in my entire life, the town I live in. I know everyone who works in that gas station, and they know me on like a personal level. It's fucking great. It's like going and see extended family whenever you're there.
Aww.
I'm betting, like, this is real theory time. I'm betting the old man is actually the murderer, and he blamed it on the cub.
Shut that fucking down.
I'm not even joking.
Damn!
I'm not even joking. I bet that's the twist.
Why are you fuckers out for blood on this delightfully pleasant, feel-good, simple show?
Too nice. He's too fucking nice, and he was too quick to get rid of that cub. I'm sorry.
I mean, I look here, like, I'm here for the show just being a gentle thing, but I'm in for the show for him being a murderer, trapping Koguma, Reiko, and the third girl we've seen in the opening in the garage, and them having to fucking fight him with power tools until death. That's just fucking.
So you want to see the first boss fight of Resident Evil Village? Gotcha. Not Village. Fucking 7. Resident Evil 7.
Yes. Let's go.
Resident Evil Village only had 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that, like, I'm on the peace, love, and good times vibe. Meepa's on the, like, I want this occult shit to happen, which I'm gonna be dead ass with y'all. I really don't. But Makan is, like, in the middle. Also, speaking of the
Go
third
either way, I'm
girl,
having fun.
speaking of the third
Maybe
girl, it looks like we're not gonna get her until like later in the season, unless
I'm not
Reiko
gonna
met
lie.
her. Unless Reiko met her on her trip and then introduces her at the end of next episode or like in the middle of next episode, like it's been 4 episodes and no third girl.
Well, this is possibly going to be a 24 episode series, so.
Yeah, we didn't meet Reiko until
Episode
the
2?
second episode. Yeah, so I mean they might be waiting a bit more. I mean, she might pop up in episode 5 or episode 6.
Good point. Just I'm surprised. I'm personally
You ready?
surprised. I thought she'd come up already.
Yeah. But are we ready for cards, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised by this episode. Granted, I'm not fully on board with the show yet. It's at about a 6 for me right now, but I'll give it one more episode, see how it's doing. I'll fuck it.
Yeah. Not a doubt in anyone's mind. I'm fucking this show. Funimation, stop fucking up the subs. Please. This show deserves your attention, damn it. They translated "simimase" as "thank you," when in reality it's "excuse me" or "apologies." And then I remember there was like a sub issue in episode 1, and then another one in episode 2. So like, Funimation, stop being mean to this show. Be nice.
Should make another award for worst streaming service.
Ooh. Honestly, I've been having
Collective
gripes.
arm.
I've been having gripes with Funimation's service, but I can be critical about it another time. Funimation. Yeah, go ahead, Makan.
Yeah, I feel good whenever I watch the show. I mean, watching it when I've been sick has been a fucking treat for the 20 minutes I spent with it. It was comfy. I loved it. I'ma fuck it. I love it. Sweet, sweet, gentle love.
Teacher can get it.
No, teacher gonna get it.
Gonna put the teacher in a maiden. Well, that's a trifecta for Super Cub. Let's move on to Tokyo Revengers, episode 24. Takamichi studies with Hina. Or episode 4. Episode 4.
Oh shit, he tried to travel himself.
I think he's having a time travel. Yeah, I think he's having a time traveling adventure himself, my friend.
I come from the future. Naoto was the one who killed Hina. No, anyway.
Naoto would shoot you in the gut for saying that.
Tokyo Revengers, episode 4. Takamichi studies with Hina, but accidentally holds Naoto's hand. He tracks down Akun in the present and finds out that he was the one who pushed him onto the tracks. Question mark? And that the higher-up Kiseki is the one who turned the Manji gang evil. Akun jumps off the roof of the building. So,
fucking episode. Oh my god.
I did enjoy this episode, but can someone explain to me the whole thing of Akun was the one who pushed you onto the tracks? Because in the original timeline, how would Akun have already been changed to push him onto the tracks?
I think because Akun hated him for abandoning him and the crew, for like running away from everyone.
Or there was someone else who pushed him the last time, but time paradoxes being a thing, changes to being him now that the times have changed in the Tokyo Manji gang. Or to do it.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Also, and this brings me up to the part that I really don't like about what this show is doing. Everyone seems to fucking know about his time traveling ability, implying that Mr. Evil fucking Snake Man, glasses dude, punk motherfucker also knows that he's a time traveler, and that, I mean, the show could still make it interesting, right? Like them trying to outsmart each other while jumping in between time, but like, fuck, man, like, it's kind of taking the wind out of my sails that everyone's like, you time travel, you time travel, you time travel.
I mean, only Naoto and Akun have.
Yeah, it's only 2 people so far.
No, but like, even it really feels like Mikey kind of figured it out too.
I mean,
No?
that's just him commenting on his seeming maturity.
But how the fuck did Akun figure it out? How?
I
Explain this to
mean,
me.
like, uh, I don't
It was a
know.
bit of a stretch, but the whole, like, yeah, you seem to have known about everything. Like, it's a bit of a stretch, but I guess it makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I
like I
mean,
said, that was the more confusing and weakest part of the episode for me, but everything else was great.
also, paradoxes seem interesting that either Naruto is exempt from the paradoxes or the people don't actually know when things change because
Yeah,
we still knew about what happened previously with Akun and not the current version of him.
I think because he's the one jumping in between times, he is what we call a singularity. But other people, maybe now excluding Naoto as well, because he's part of the trigger. But yeah, I think Akun certainly changed. I think actually we don't know if Naoto has changed, right? Because like
We know that Naoto is alive now.
He was dead before he became a police officer because of Hanagaki, and
right.
we know he hasn't changed by the things Hanagaki did this time because when he came back, he didn't know about what had changed.
Time
Yeah.
travel is weird, man.
Paradox
Although,
are gonna get real.
Yeah, I feel like paradoxes are going to get really fucky in this show.
let's talk about the best part of this episode, Hina. She's so
Yes.
adorable.
Best girl
Dude,
of every episode.
Easy candidate for best supporting character so far for me.
You know what you mean, main character?
Hina's not a main character.
She fucking
Yeah,
should be.
we
No.
might ignore that, but I mean, she's not a main character. She's not. Yeah,
Guys, she's more of a shonen protagonist than fucking Takamichi is.
sure. But at the same time, she's not in the show nearly enough to be considered a main character in my eyes.
I'm pouting, but you're right.
It's so adorable, her with her mother, just like, oh no, stop, no, please, no. Also, why
Yeah,
does her
so...
Holly from part 3?
What?
Why does Hina's mother look like Holly from part 3?
Hmm. The Joestar
I... The Joestar bloodline is strong with Tina. This is why she kicks ass.
stand. That's why.
So like anime does this joke a lot, right? Where it's just like, "Mom, get out! You're embarrassing me." But I actually really liked how, like, yes, it's an anime trope and cliche, but at least they actually gave her a few extra lines in the scene to. It made it feel actually more real, more genuine instead of haha awkward teenager moment.
Well, it also feels more real because they're actually in the age group where they would do that. If a
Yeah,
parent walked on a teenager with their girlfriend, they would either be A, violently fucking, or B, he'd go, yeah, that's my girlfriend, then he'd French her out of spite just to spite his dad.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, I don't know what the
Okay.
fuck you've been on that route, but
Yeah, you
uh,
went to a place there, buddy.
I mean, as someone who has had several different girlfriends in this age group, and consider like when I was in this age group, Jesus fuck, that sounded wrong. But being at their place when their parents usually came to check up on us, I mean that's usually the reaction. Yeah, it's very real.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's
But it's
usually
just
get the fuck out of my room. I'm hanging out with my boyfriend.
yeah, but anime has been this is definitely a super cliche thing, but it's often ended with her. The scene usually ends with the kid. The like it would have ended normally with Hina pushing her mom out, and then it would have cut to the next scene. But this time it gave it a few extra lines, and I appreciated those few extra lines. They were real. Hina is amazing. She is such a good fucking person. She is paladin through and through, but it is nice to see her be like a flustered teenager too.
Hey,
I mean,
hey, Dale.
if anything, it's some good exposition because we got the information that Hina hasn't told at least her mom about the fact that she's together with Hanagaki.
Yeah, makes sense. because
Hey, Dal.
dealing quick. What's up, Meep?
Do you think Hina's dad is Kyosuke, and that's why Hori is always mad at Kyosuke because he has a second family? Her dad
Anyway,
is
Hina's
never.
great.
Her dad's never around, and he's a police officer.
Hina. Oh yeah. Speaking of that whole bit, I'm pretty sure that like she was killed because of something her dad did. Well, not pretty sure. I suspect that it might be possible that she was killed because of something her dad did.
I mean, maybe, but in the original timeline, when Naoto says it was an accident. They drove it into the stand to try and do something else, but she just happened to be there.
Yeah, but then everyone says that like it's not. It can't possibly be like even everyone. Am I wrong? Is the show not treating it like Tana Takamichi isn't just like this is too coincidental to be an accident?
I don't think. I don't
I
think so.
mean,
At least that's not what the show's been doing so far.
it wasn't an accident. It was deliberate to crash into an entire festival of people. I mean, Hina and Naoto weren't the only people who died, right?
They weren't. No, they list off a bunch more people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not deliberately them. It's just Naoto was saved because he got put on another path, so it means he wasn't at the festival at the time.
Yeah, no. Also, I laughed out loud when fucking uh when she's just like I forgot what she said in particular, but she said like I really like you or like I want to continue learning about you and like us growing together. And the fucking firework cutaway happened and in my head I'm like and he jizzed in his pants.
For fuck's sake!
I opened a window and a breeze rolled in. I jizzed in my pants. I just ate a grape and I jizzed in my pants.
God damn.
I
I
jizz
will
all
say-
in my pants every time you're next to me.
I will say I was a bit disappointed when he was because I could see it coming when it's like it's not showing Hina. He's holding hands with someone else, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then it's Naoto. Naoto! I was like, we could have had a nice, genuine moment here, and it got undercut. And I understand they have to go back to the future at some point, but it would have been nice to just have that moment between the two of them.
Sure, but the show can't give us too much off the bat. They're making us wait for it because anime, and also because, middle schoolers. But I agree, it would have been really cute. But the show chose to play it off to comedy, and yeah, okay, I get the joke. The joke was fine. It landed. It didn't make me go ha 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 ha. But it was yeah.
And also a thing with that. I mean, they needed to get them to accidentally shake hands for some reason because, like he said, he doesn't want to go back. And why would he? His life is a lot better here.
Yeah, and Meep said they did need to send him to the future, back to the present. That had to come up sooner and later, but
I'm betting that. Well, not betting, but I would have liked. This is just what I would have personally done. Is yes, he's leaving. He shakes hands with the mother, and then without thinking about it, shakes hands with Naoto, going, "It was nice to meet you." Wait a second.
that would have been good actually.
That would-
Wait a minute.
That would have
Yeah,
been.
it would be a
way
better way.
That
But
was
this is
pretty
the way
good.
they did it. We're going to just wait a minute.
Hanagaki's already head empty.
I did find it funny where Natsu is just like, Domo. Obviously uncomfortable
Yeah.
with this guy
Oh, yeah.
taking his hand.
But does future Naoto have that memory though?
Yep.
Yes.
Um,
wait.
Fucking-
He didn't. Well, I mean, I guess it's an inconspicuous
doesn't.
thing in the moment.
Well, no.
I was-
Past memories about himself should be. No, it's weird.
I was also just another point I want to make. The only thing that has been sort of grating with me with the show, though, has still been the comedy for me because, again, I'm not a fan of the whenever something weird happens, he goes the monkey face like Naoto, and it's just like steam pouring out of his nose and ears, and his face is animated like that. That joke has not been doing it for me at all.
I haven't noticed any steam pouring out of his nose or ears, but he does get the fucking no nostrils as if that was the case.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I really don't like the look of it. I can agree with. I'm not
It's-
watching this for the comedy. I'll be perfectly honest.
Some of the moments get a chuckle out of me, but honestly, like, yeah, it's not a visual gag that works for me, but I know it's very it's not the first time I see this. I know it's like it's a type of comedy. It just doesn't seem to be the one that we understand or that really lands with us.
Oh, also, Hina on the train. That was also a good moment.
That's why I said she's fucking amazing. I love her. She's such a paladin. She didn't. I thought she was gonna come in and like tell them off, but like she came in and literally killed them with kindness. Well, I guess not literally killed them with kindness, but killed them with literal kindness.
And
Yeah,
this gun she found.
She doesn't mind that they're looking at memes on their phone. She just wants them to move over so the old lady can have a seat.
Yeah, she wasn't like, stop being fucking obnoxious, you bunch of punks. She was just like, hey, you know, it's really cool letting old people sit on the train.
Move the fuck over.
Yeah, she's great. I genuinely really enjoy her character. She is just constantly a good time. She's a little like, you know, like she's a little tokeny like, oh my god, waifu, like, you know, but at the same time, like she's a cool character. I like her. She's good.
Oh yeah. How about we talk about something more heavy? The conversation between Hanagaki and Akun when they came back to the future.
Yeah, alright. Are we back to Akun Shady?
Yeah,
Fucking
Slim
Marshall
Akun.
over here?
Um, just how much he's changed, but still, you know, being the same person because, you know, people changed over 12 years.
Well, he's not a JoJo character anymore.
I mean, you say that. But the conversation they had about how as soon as they got to be alone, his voice kind of became back to how it used to be, and they were more friendly. Before him talking about seeing them, like insisting to see the Hanagaki insisting to see the Tokyo Manji or Mickey, I guess, and Akun kind of just
Enough.
breaking down and also just confessing what he had done because he couldn't live with doing that to his one of, if not his best friend, uh, and the crushing pressure of being forced to work for the Tokyo Manji gang and having done
Specifically that
that.
asshole.
Yeah, and just having done that and like there is no other escape, doing what he did is fucking heavy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was wondering which one of them is going to fall off the roof, because we knew it was coming, right? We all saw it coming.
Yeah, no, when he brought him up there, I'm like, is he gonna fucking throw him off the roof?
When he
Now,
put his arm around him. Yeah, go ahead, Mute. Go ahead.
something I'm curious. The snakehead guy, like the guy who turned the Manji gang evil. What are the chances he's also a time traveler?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was leading into, because like, first of all, him hearing everything implies that he now knows that he's a time traveler, and like if he's also a time traveler, like I don't know if like I'm apprehensive about that. I don't know if I'm into it.
Then again, Hanagaki never admitted anything, so it could also just be seen as the mad ramblings of Akun, but that puts the seed of doubt that he might be a time traveler in the glasses guy.
Yeah.
The glasses guy pulls out a gun. Well, if I kill him now,
Only
Well,
one
like
way to know for sure, right? Let's.
well, like we've seen before, when someone tries to kill him, apparently he goes back into the past by that too.
That was a one-time thing. We don't know if it's
Akun, 12 years in
consistent.
the future. Akun, 12 years. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna make the joke. Akun, 12 years in the future. Don't jump off the roof. Get in front of me. What?
I mean, it might be a one-time thing, but the same, we don't have like we don't have a sample size big enough to
Teta.
actually know.
By the way, it's
But
Kisaki Teta or Teta Kisaki.
but I mean, at the same time, it seems that it triggers by him shaking hands with someone who's made a bond or a pact with in the past and the future, or being in a near-death experience.
I don't think it's gonna be bond based, because if he shakes hands with Sendo, Akun, he just summons back to his corpse.
Fuck.
Yeah. Also, Draken dead. Apparently, that's another
Yeah,
pivotal point that we need
that's
to prevent.
interesting. Because now we know that he's gonna die, and he needs to do something about that, and that puts a deadline on things to get done. We don't know where it is yet, though, but it definitely puts importance on that.
We ready for cards, gentlemen?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who wants to go first?
I can go first. Um, Having locked the show, like, first episode really got me. The second episode kind of lost me for a bit, but it's just been catching me again, and with how it's speeding up, fucking hell is it getting good with the time travel drama of how fucked his friends have become in the head, and his determination growing, and even though he's scared and easy to cry, I mean, I fucking invested to see Hanagaki's journey of growing into someone who can stand tall against these issues and actually succeed in what he's trying to do. I'm fucking the show because fuck, that's good.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because like this show is doing what another show is failing to do. But yeah, no, I'm also gonna fuck this show. It's I myself hesitate to be like, fuck, this is so good. But like, this is good in a number of ways. Like, on one degree, it's just like, it's silly and still a little bit kind of dumb. But on the other hand, like, there is a compelling story being written here with characters that are showing more sides to themselves than just gangsters. But at the same time, it's just fun to watch. Like, this show is a good time, even with the very dark ending to this episode. Uh, and you know, like the show talks about both the glamour, like the glamour side of being in a gang, and also the very dark, very real uh, side as well. Anyway, show's good. I'm enjoying it. I was very.
You cut out now.
Oh, where'd I cut out? God damn. Fuck.
I,
Okay.
I was where I was very. That's what I caught it pretty much immediately.
I was very much looking forward to this episode, and I think I realize now with this episode passing, I much prefer the middle school. Still weird to me, but middle school, the past stuff than the present stuff, just because the characters are more fun. But I'm rooting for Takamichi. I'm hoping that he gets to save his friends and his girl.
I feel like he's not going to get out of this with everyone, you know, still there in the end. I feel like there's going to have to be something that he does have to sacrifice,
I mean,
and
Akuya,
whether
yeah.
that's himself or possibly Mikey, who knows. But I'm gonna fuck this show too. I actually really enjoyed this episode. A little bit confused with one part of it, but hey, it's really good. It's a trifecta for the first three shows and Tokyo Revengers. Let's
Yeah.
move on to Mars Red, episode 4. The crew search the red light district while while Gas Mask Boy schmoozes with a 15-year-old girl. Reporter Girl meets a vampire from Britain, who we later see with the S-Class Boy. Code
Okay.
Zero kills.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
Code Zero kills a sect of vampires. However, Maida has a heart attack after they finish.
Okay. Now, hold on. Don't do that. Like, yes, obviously, looking back in that time period, like, we're like, why would you ever allow underage girls to be prostitutes? But that
I
is
was I
that's
wasn't
not
saying that,
uncommon.
I wasn't saying that as like a knock against the show.
Okay.
Like, notice how I said schmoozes.
I love Gas Mask's boy whole aesthetic of this episode.
It's so fucking stylish. I love
I think he's Gojo's ancestor.
it.
Also, that bell. Wait, hold on. Why am I trying to hustle?
I'm gonna be honest. The reporter girl and the S-Class vampire, I do not care for.
Really?
I don't care so much about that either yet, but I mean, that's because I don't know much about the S-class vampire yet.
The British are coming. The British are coming.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, supposedly the British guy broke some pacts, but it just. I think the theater aesthetic to it is to its detriment because it. I don't know, it just feels so dry at points. And
Well,
when
that's
the
the thing.
actual
I think this episode is. Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done.
when the actual overarching plot seems really dry when they talk about it, because it's obvious the plot is going to be about, oh, Code Zero needs to hunt down this vampire so they can get their funding, but it's just so dry whenever it's talked about or mentioned. And
I don't think that's what the plot's gonna be. I'm pretty sure the plot's gonna be the fucking English vampires trying to do some more fucking bullshit in Tokyo.
then why are they
Yeah.
constantly building up that they're losing funding?
I
Because
mean, the losing funding is to signify that they're already on like hot water. They don't have a lot of space to make mistakes. They're on a time limit to get results. The
yeah,
actual thing is all the mystery with the blood trade and everything, and the vampires that are cropping up all around Japan. I mean, it's not about the military squad itself. It's about what they're solving.
yeah, and the funding part is just the immediate conflict. It's definitely not the overarching plot. I am willing to put money on that. And you also mentioned like its theatrical nature. I actually found this episode to be the least theatrical, and to its detriment, no less.
Like,
Yeah, no, it wasn't definitely wasn't as theatrical, except for like the kind of like kind of like a Romeo and Juliet esque thing between Gas Mask Boy and the prostitute. That's not the right way to say it, but that's the first thing that came into my head. Um, I wouldn't. Yeah, no, it's not the right thing. But I was thinking like theater things that I know, and I don't know that much.
Fair enough.
But just the kind of that was kind of like a theatrical situation in how it was played, in my opinion.
the things I liked about this episode was the stuff between Gas Mask Boy and that girl, and the whole the actually how we got to see the powers get used now from the 8 class boy. I didn't
Yeah.
like how they treated the weakest guy like shit.
Yeah. Poor Yanagaki, man. Oh, Yamagami, like Yamanagi. Is it Yamagami or Yamagani? Whatever. Point is, either Yamanagi or Yamagami. But like, should they really have been talking that loud about vampires and shit out loud in fucking public?
Nope. Like with the reporter
Literally,
as well, just him running up like, oh, there's a vampire sighting. All right, let's go. Just like
I think
yeah.
not giving a shit.
the way Aoi reacted, I think it was implied that he ran up saying Colonel Maeda, and then he whispered the vampire part because she was just like Colonel Vampire. Colonel
It's
Maeda.
also yeah, it's also they're also using vamp, which is like a code word, which is like I mean, it might be like a military phrase that I don't know.
True.
I'm guessing the word vampire hasn't been invented yet, or like not invented. But I'm guessing like vampires aren't known to the public yet. Like they don't have Twilight probably.
But then why the fuck did the Cortesian know that fucking Suwa is a vampire?
Working with the military, I think.
The Cortesian?
Cortesian. Oh wait, okay, sorry. You're meaning girl with back gas mask. But I thought you were talking about
Prostitute.
the ones that told them about the blood trade. Oh,
No,
that
I'm
girl.
talking
Oh,
about no, I'm talking about the 15-year-old young girl who was a prostitute in a red light district, Cortesian, as the term is.
I have, I have no clue how she knew that. That part kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, like what the fuck was that about?
I don't think she actually know. I think she was just like, well, you must be a vampire then if you're 300 years old and you're just doing flirty small talk. Like
I
it's kind of how
guess.
it sounded. Because like after he lay down on the lap and they talked for like, so how old are you really? And he said 300 years again. It feels like she didn't quite believe him in that, which makes sense.
Okay, you know what? I like that, but also that's way too on the nose.
It's fair enough. But I
One
mean,
thing I didn't
yeah.
Me,
one thing I didn't like is, oh yeah, there's multiple vampires. I was like, oh, okay, that's neat. Next thing you know, oh no, it's just the entire town are vampires. It's like,
yeah.
okay, what the fuck?
How the
That's not an
fuck is there
interesting
this
mystery.
huge horde of vampires and like no one fucking knows about it?
It's also not a very interesting mystery because when a mystery is supposed to be, oh, who is it? It mystery is supposed to be who is it or not? Is it the entire city? Question mark.
Yeah, that was a kind of weak thing. Just like, oh, there's a fucking horde of them. When not a lot of people survives the vampire infection, which means there are probably thousands, if not tens of thousands, dead.
Well, that's excessive. I think it's implied that whatever that fuck perfume was, it was designed in a way to turn people into vampires. That's what I got from it. But
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, we also got by previous episodes that like 1 in 10 people survive the vampire transformation or something like that. I don't remember the actual statistic, but
yeah, so there were like
I
hundreds of
was
people.
I was waiting for like a cool twist where one of the escorts was a vampire and they were turning people by doing the whole thing of like, oh, we're having sex, I'm biting your neck, and then
Yeah,
those people died. I was like, that's something that I like to do with brothels in my settings. It's like, here's mystery. That one of the girls or guys there is this thing. Let's do that because that's a fun, interesting way. Because that's how powers like that get information. Because loose lips sink ships and all that, and get someone drunk and horny enough, and they'll talk.
Harney. Yeah, no, I completely agree with Meep when he said like when Meep was talking about like having an expectation for a cool mystery, only to have like this fucking horde that no one fucking noticed. Like, th- I myself was like really excited. It's like, oh, there's more than one person. I'm like, oh, this is clever. Like, you have to track down two, maybe three people who are turning in this, and we're gonna get a two-parter where they crack the case of the red light district. And I'm like, this is gonna be really cool. And what ended up happening is we just got vampire zombie or like zombie vampires that all attacked Yanagaki, and he almost died, and then A Boy was really cool, and fucking Itachi Uchiha all the fucking zombie vampires. Like,
Like,
yeah.
thinking about it, it's I had a lot of problems with this episode because while I like the stuff with Gas Mask Boy and seeing the, sword A class boy do well, it's the way that the team treated Yamagaki kind of put me off. The mystery itself put me off, and the overarching story not interesting me. I just don't have a lot of hope for the future of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I was very fucking sick when I watched this, but like I didn't, because of that I didn't make any expectations or anything. But you talking about it and what I got when watching it, yeah, it is very disappointing with what they could have done with it. Like they went for such a basic thing, like, oh, some zombie vampire hordes eating everyone in the streets, instead of the cool and interesting ones that you guys explained. And I mean, yeah, vampires are supposed to be special. They're not supposed to be just like, oh, they're just fucking random people. You shot them with a gun, one of them died. What the fuck?
And if Reporter Girl and S Class are supposed to be big parts of the overarching story, I'm not here for that. They don't interest me.
well, from a theatrical perspective, right? Like, I'm like, this is something we've lost in a lot of modern media, but like making minor characters have massive importance later on in the story is a technique used in not only Shakespearean theater, but in a lot of literature. So I think that's the setup. Is that like that's why they keep showing us fucking Prince Vampire S class boy, because like he's there. Something will happen. It's just we're not quite in that act.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, I I thought it would.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just like I think they like moved away from like the theatrical. Like, all right, we get what inspires us now. Let's just move on to making the show. I think they should have leaned in more to the theatrical stuff. I think they should have gone on the kind of poetic character rants that people do in theater, like they did in the first episode with the vampire. Like the whole Yokanan, it's your lips that I want to kiss, and like all that. I feel like that's the kind of lines the character in this show should kind of be doing all the time. Like those kinds of theatrical one man monologue things that seem strange otherwise, but in theater they're completely normal and they're what brings it into such a crescendo, I suppose.
Yeah, I just overall was disappointed with this episode because are we good for cards, or is there other stuff you want to bring up?
I'm good. How about you, Makan?
I think I mentioned everything I have to say. No, actually, like the fucking Doctor Vampire dude. I mean, he got more than just being an insane scientist. He actually cares somewhat, and like don't like be careful, take care of yourself, and like when talking to them and setting off on the mission and everything, he seems to be a bit like myself and just putting up the kind of air of like he who I'm fucking don't care and I'm a bit nutty for the
I'm
fun of it.
ready.
Yeah, but just for the fun of it, but actually seems to care, and that seems to fit in with how he is because he's not a mad scientist. He just wants to know more and sees his mortality as a good way to do that. So, I mean, he's not actually just uncaring of humans and people.
Yeah, you make a good point. I didn't realize it until you just brought it up, but like, I think I think they used that character really well in this episode with the ultrasonic communicating. Fucking Yamagaki still not like just. That's a joke that did not land for me. This dude about to fucking die, not being able to communicate with his people, just this deep, gruff voiced man trying to go falsetto, like, haha, I get it. Also, like,
Um,
it
I mean,
showed.
it's not even a joke. It's just that he can't do it as he's not strong enough of a vampire.
He sucks. But I actually really
He
like
gets
him.
shafted this episode, and I wasn't happy with it.
Yeah, me neither. Like, even if I take away the shafted, I have my own reasons for what I'm going to hold up for the card, but, like, yeah. But before we hold up cards, I also do want to pay homage to one thing. There was one really good line from the editor in this episode where Aoi is like, "But," and he's like, "Butts are for ashtrays," and I'm like, you know what? That's that's good. I'll give it to you.
I I will say I do really enjoy the English voice acting because I've been watching the dub. Scientist Man, I think he's voiced by Ian Sinclair, Whis' voice actor. At the very least, he sounds a lot like Whis. And then the Yamagani, the guy who's like, I am trying to reach you with ultrasonic communication. I will admit it did get a chuckle just because he sounds like this gruff, manly man. Then he like starts reverting to Timmy Turner.
I mean, yeah, that was the joke, right? It's like that's what they were going for. So I'm glad it landed for you. For me, it's just like I like that because like he knows what falsetto is, and with his harpsichord or piano, whatever he had, like this man is very cultured, and like I just love this like fucking gruff, gruff and rough soldier dude who's actually like I want to see him succeed.
Same here. I mean, he's in a very precarious situation being around vampires while being the weakest vampire that is, pretty much.
He almost fucking died.
I mean, sure, if you're he's basically a normal person being mobbed by like 50 other normal people. Sure, he's a bit more well trained than actually a soldier and stuff, but a soldier mobbed by 50 other people and armed with just a handgun will also almost die himself, if not die.
Yeah, no, I know it makes sense. I'm just upset that the team sent him in knowing that there's multiple vampires. Like, at
Well,
least.
it they covered why they did that as well. They didn't have a choice because the other vampires being strong enough scared off the other vampires, so they couldn't actually find anyone.
Yeah, and also like furthermore, the team did get concerned when he hasn't checked in a minute.
So Maida couldn't go with him?
Yeah, no, I think Maeda should definitely have gone with him, but I guess that's not a thing they did.
He's the commander. He's the colonel. He's his. You don't put your general first.
He's supposed to care about his men, but he sends his men into a vampire den on his own. I'm gonna
Welcome
hold
to
up.
military.
I'm gonna hold up
Mhm.
my cards. I'm gonna kill this show. I was actually gonna give it the fuck at first, but talking about it, I was thinking like just how disappointed I was with this episode and my expectations for it in the future. I am not interested in the story that they're planning on telling. It's I don't know. I just don't get anything out of this. If you do, hey, that's great. I haven't. I I don't think I can do with this show.
For me, the show landed such a beautiful setup, and it it promised a lot of things I've never really thought about expecting from an anime, but they haven't been able to deliver it so far. But I still want to keep giving it a chance to see if they can. So I'm gonna fuck it.
I. This episode was sloppy. It was I liked the awkward, not awkward, the odd pacing and storytelling that they were doing up until this episode, but in this one I just felt like it was sloppy. And without its usual theatrical charms, there wasn't really anything carrying it across for me. I like the show. I am curious with what they're building up. We didn't talk about him much, but like the new English vampire who's just like a pompous prick is I take him or leave him. I don't really care. But like what they did with the young prostitute girl, the Cortesian, and like having her end up dead close to the end of the episode, like it just it felt like things were happening just to happen this episode. It really felt off key and off beat, even for this show. And while I agree, Makan, I don't think this is a bad show. I'm curious to know where it's going to go. I can't, in all good consciousness, fuck this episode. This episode gets the knife for me. It's why'd you have to kill the girl? Why, like, it's why was there a horde of zombies who were like vampires? Why is this other dude here and he's plotting with the secretary? It's This episode didn't do it for me.
That's 2 kills and a fuck for Mars Red. Let's move on to The World Ends With You, the animation, episode 4. Shiki, or no, Shuri. What the fuck's his name again? Neku. Neku starts his new. I think I tried to type Shiki, but it put up Shuri.
uh,
Neku starts his new Reapers game with his new partner, Joshua. He regains some memories by scanning him, even though you're not supposed to be able to scan a player, and they complete 2 days under the new Game Master. Josh continues to be cryptic while we see Beat has become a Reaper because anime.
Beat becoming a Reaper was something that actually interested me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
How do
he's
you
a
want-
Reaper because anime.
I mean, remember that intros are like fun, poking fun. But yeah, Beat becoming a Reaper, I kind of want to see more of, because that also implies that the characters who don't pass the game have the potential. Like, this show is doing a lot of world building that seems and feels like it should be interesting, but the way it's executing on it still has me scratching my fucking head.
And I doubt it's going to ever get any better.
Well, here's the thing that might have happened with Beat becoming a Reaper. When Rhyme died and he was taken away by the other guy, and he said, "Oh, he's been erased." By the way, I don't think that's the case. I think he partnered up with Beat and beat the game. That other guy got given his freedom, and Beat got given the same option Neko did, but he became a Reaper instead of doing the game again.
Oh, was that something that happened last episode? Neko had the chance of becoming a Reaper?
Yeah, they were offering him the chance, and he said, "No fucking way am I becoming a Reaper."
Hmm.
Did they?
Yeah, they did at the end of it.
I have to go back and look. I don't remember that.
I remember that being a thing at least. He was offered a position as a Reaper at least, but at some point.
Yeah, no, I mean, I believe you. It's just like the moment I really did not like the ending of last episode. I thought it was really fucking hammy. So I was just, whatever.
I mean, I can at least say the new Game Master is better than the last. Because we
Yeah.
actually.
I like the new Game Master. I like his general sense of style and how this fucking Yankee motherfucker is seemingly real fucking smart, always throwing equations and shit in people.
He's becked out, he's better, he's not good, because he has more lines than the other Game Master did already.
Sure, and he's considerably stronger. Like, it is implied even from the beginning that he's considerably stronger than the other Game Master. I just feel like this is a character that works really well in a text game, like on the DS. And now that they gave him a voice, I found him to be fucking obnoxious.
Just describing this whole anime for me. It just like the whole it works better on a DS. You're just describing this whole anime for me.
Like, I like his design. Aesthetically, he looks cool as fuck, this punk boy with his stupid Naruto fucking face scars. But vocally, he's obnoxious. Behavior, he's obnoxious. And, like, I get it. He's a villain, right? Like, he's not, like, it's fine. Like, you don't, it's fine to have a disliked villain, but, like, I just, the thing is, though, like, yes, I want to see him punched in the face, but I also don't care to, like, it's not like, man, I really want him to get punched in the face. Like, oh, I can't wait for him to get punched. To get a stupid fucking face punch. It's just like, yeah, I punched this guy in the face. Who cares?
It's more that you want him to shut the fuck up and go away. A good villain is not someone you just hate by any reason. You need to love to hate them.
Yeah, it's like I don't even really hate him. I just dislike him. I hate all the people that he was working with who all just started screaming and punching each other. But that's also within this IP's aesthetic. Like, World Ends With You, a lot of the like Devil Survivor games, a lot of survival games that deal with like demons and spirits in Shibuya deal with just people being really shitty to each other.
It's because people are generally really shitty to each other.
How much do you want to bet during one of the Reapers games? Because it's obvious at this point this anime is gonna go through multiple Reapers games. How much do you want to bet Beat is gonna be the game master of one of them?
Yeah.
I mean, considering he's one of the main party members of the game, which I know otherwise shouldn't be a thing, but it's quite obvious that he is.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know what the
Riku
fuck.
fucking exists.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with that.
Honestly, I could totally see, because again, this is a Square RPG, and I could totally then being like, that's how you get Beat back, right? He's the game master, and then Neku does his speech, and then Beat is like, oh, I don't know if I can, I'm just so angry. And Neku's like, friendship, and then Beat's like, fine, like, you're right. This isn't the way.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
By the way,
I
my
don't.
ham, my I'm purposely being really fucking like hammy and not good in the execution because I'm
Yeah.
kind of getting this vibe now.
I mean, I don't know. I like the smartness and smugness and the mystery of the new character that was introduced.
I hate him. I don't trust this fuck at all. Go ahead, Meek.
Exactly, but that's why it's interesting to me.
It's not even that I don't trust him in a good way. It's I just don't like him. With characters like this, I like when they introduce them, it's like, okay, they're not I don't know, I can't and I'm having a hard time explaining it. I did not like Joshua at all. He was a poor
He's obnoxious in the opposite way of the new game master, where he's just like fucking. Am I the only one who feels like he's the one who killed Neku?
I have a feeling he's involved in some way. I feel like he knows Neku from before in one way or another.
Well, that's implied.
He drove the truck into the stall, killing Neku, Hina, and Naoto.
God damn it.
Shut up.
I mean, sure. I mean, I can see your issues with him, but I love the fact that he is maybe not the kind of person that Neku wants to be around. He is seemingly knows too much. He's untrustworthy, and the fact that he can scan him puts even more doubt on him as a person. But the way
Yes.
the Reaper's game works, Neku needs to trust him to be able to fight.
So what does that make him? Does that make him a non? Because they said, "Oh, you're a player of this game, right?" So like, he's a Shinigami, right? Like he has to be.
Either
I-
that, or he hasn't died, but somehow found his way into the Reaper way games anyway.
Or he came back. He died again.
If Joshua's a Reaper, I think that'd be a really stupid twist.
That's what I'm expecting. I'm not happy about it, but I'm expecting Joshua to be a Reaper.
That's going to be incredibly stupid, in my opinion. Because Reapers aren't supposed to be able to pair with people. Then again, Reapers aren't supposed to interfere, but now Beat is coming to kick Neku's green ass.
Also, like, Neku forgot a lot of things from the first game, like that he can't fight without a partner, and that Reapers are only allowed to, like, Shinigami are only allowed to put out one mission, so the shit that this fucking asshole did in the first day, like, was the thing the pink-haired girl did, and also he wants her dead for some reason. Like, the show does have a lot of things in it, it's just... God damn it! If I just can't find a place to put my hands and grab it, like a very difficult wall to climb, like a rock wall to climb, like in climbing gyms. I can't find the place to put my hands.
It needs more time. That's exactly what it is. It needs more time, and because the episode, like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure this could have the potential to be a great anime if it's given enough episodes to fit everything in it nice and well. It's video games definitely, especially since anime have limited episodes, video games rarely ever translate well to anime, movies, or other mediums.
It's the same the other way around because there's usually not enough content in an anime video or movie to make a game out of.
Yeah, unless it's a fighting game.
Well, you also have to
Or
understand
unless
that.
they take their own spin.
Yeah, you also have to understand that different mediums have like their own different effects, right? Like, there's a reason why a book can be. It's easier to basically anytime you try to adapt an RPG game into visual media, whether it be like TV, movie, anime, or even a book technically, is that games have a lot of agency for the player, for the viewer, for the person experiencing it, and like when you don't get to explore all those things and when you cut it out of the show, it leaves the people being like, huh?
Yeah, it's
First anime, let's go.
games are always very a lot more difficult to translate than other media because like things like books and books, comics, and all that are passive mediums. Meanwhile, video games are active mediums.
Yeah.
It's a clash of translating into a different medium. So it's hard to do right, and that's why there hasn't been a lot of cases of it being done right.
Yeah. I'm gonna
You
say
ready
one
for
good
better
thing.
skins?
Not yet.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna say one thing I liked about I'm just gonna do a thing I liked and a thing I disliked about the show. Thing I disliked: unnecessary recap for an already short on time and pacing show in the beginning. Like, yeah, we watched the last episode. Stop. Like, stop banking on the emotional moment. And two, yeah, like use that time you would for a flashback to have some more character interactions or flesh out and establish some more things in your universe. And then the good thing that I liked, the flashback distortion was very well done in my opinion. We talked about it in Vivy. This was a bit different, but like the whole glitchy virtual static with like Joshua's voice echoing through him and then turning into Neku's voice and then Neku just getting his memories back, but it still being fuggy and it being like expressed in again that like visual TV static distortion. Like I thought that was really fucking rad.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hey, if Neku beats the Reaper's game this time, we know his price probably won't be Joshua to enter.
Joshua is a smarmy bitch.
Maybe he'll Roy Mustang himself. Maybe it'll be his eyes.
Got to him, or his hearing, because he wants to, enjoy the world. Which I think we now understand why he lost his memories. It wasn't some tragic, fucked up thing. It's because he really cherished his own experiences and just living his own life to the fullest every day, and that's why it was taken away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think he cherished his memories he's made, and they were important to him just by the fact that it's his accumulated experience that he's lived so far.
Yeah, this does imply that we're gonna, like Meep said, we're gonna get multiple Reaper games, and he's gonna go through all the Shinigami bosses, saving one person at a time each time, until the final boss is Neku, because his heart becomes taken by the darkness.
I mean, eventually think he's going to be alone, and he's going to be able to partner with himself for some shit, considering he has 2 badges.
He does have 2 badges, and that is the setup that I'm expecting, that he doesn't need a partner.
What, does he just, like, put the badges on his ears like earrings?
No, he just wields them in both hands. Oh, speaking of wielding things in both hands, Joshua's a smarmy prick who's super fucking cryptic to the point of not being a real person. Their combo attack is cool as fuck. The effects are ugly, especially on the fire, but damn it all if it isn't cool in execution.
Mm-hmm.
Is Joshua just Goldo? He has psychic powers. He's a smarmy prick.
Fuck off.
Are we ready for cards?
Yeah.
I continue to get nothing out of this show, and all it does is makes me want to play the game and see if the game is better executed. I'm a kill it. It has so many glaring issues for me, and in the twists that we've been talking about and expecting, like the whole Neku is able to partner with himself, or the whole fucking Joshua being a Reaper. Those twists would not work. I don't think. But that's just me. Kill.
I'm still enjoying the show. I like the intrigue, and I mean, sure, it's handled some things in ways that I might not think is the best, but the art style is still great, the music is great. I know that you guys don't like Joshua, but I just like the dynamic of him being untrustworthy. I don't find him obnoxious in any way, and I don't really see what you mean by that. And the new Reaper is also pretty cool. Maybe I didn't listen close enough to his voice, but I don't see anything wrong with that either. I'm gonna fuck the show.
Cool, yeah, no worries. It's just, I have my own personal taste for characters, you have your own. As for me, man, this show's main problem continues to be its pacing. Like, half the stuff that happened, like this episode, just like, not even just this episode, like overall, really, just fails to feel like it has the gravity that it deserves to have. Like, just due to the fact that, like, just we don't have time to focus on something. I still love the show's aesthetic. The music's dope. The opening is really growing on me, and especially, uh, it is nice because it's not nostalgic in the sense of like, man, I really missed this and this takes me back. But like, it is nice to enjoy a piece of quote unquote new media with a very much 2000s vibe and feel to it. Like, this could easily be a Saturday morning cartoon. I think it's dope for that regard. But we've talked about how it's executing its actual content to death already, at least for this week. Still, this episode was much better than the last one, and it sets up a decent amount of intrigue that leaves me actually curious to see more. At least just a little bit. I'm less excited about holding up this fuck card than, which, by the way, I'm fucking this episode. I'm less excited about this. I'm less excited about fucking the show as I was before we talked about it because it just made me a little bit more aware of just the many things I dislike that it's doing. But the show got to manage to hook me back. Just come on, show. You got. I'm giving you another episode. Let's see what you got. Fuck.
You're never getting Shiki again. We're never gonna get that character again
No,
until the
she's a
end.
good girl. That scene with her friend, while oddly introduced and oddly cut, the action again. What the fuck? It was just like cut to her. Well, no, introduced was fine. We saw her walking down the street. Then we listened to her. Neku didn't fucking scan her, which was dumb. And then fucking then just cuts back to Joshua really awkward like standing in the fucking door frame like a villain. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, show.
Well, maybe next week it'll kick the bucket. But that is 2 fucks and a knife for The World Ends With You, the animation. Now, let's move on to Shadow's House, Episode 4. The living doll Barbie, yes, that's her fucking name, scolds Emiliko and 2 dolls named Rum and Sean. They are assigned to Night Watch to find out what happened with the Phantom. They get scared by a veiled doll and stumble upon a broken latch to the attic, where soot gathered to create phantoms.
So I know I've said this multiple times this week, this session, but Barbie is a mega bitch. I'd go as far as to say
Yeah.
Barbie's just a fucking cunt.
Yes.
Why the fuck is her name Barbie?
Why
Just
not?
fuck you, that's why.
I'm sorry, I can't take her seriously with like guy tripping her and going, "I'm sorry, Barbie, I can't see very well." Fucking Yanagi from fucking Horimiya over here.
Meep. Why is her name Barbie? Well, because she's a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Fucking plastic. It's fantastic.
While this episode While this episode wasn't as dark as the last, I do enjoy how we get introduced to 2 new characters, and I actually enjoy them.
Rum, you precious
Rum.
little bee.
Rum. I do have to ask: is her name Rum? Because like the shadows name them. Is her name Rum because her shadow is just a rampant alcoholic?
I doubt it. I doubt it. I think this is just a case of cool English word. Let's make name.
I know, but I just needed to make that joke because that's the first thing I thought.
Listen, guys, I've only just met Rum, but if anything happens to her, I will kill everyone in this room and then myself.
I really like Rum and Josh and how
Josh?
like wait, no, Josh is the blonde. Rum and
Yeah,
Sean.
he's a fucking. Ricky's the blonde. Sean is the black-haired boy.
Yeah. And Ricky is Ricky is the one in the ending who seems to get along with his pompous master, which it's nice to see how these personalities shine through in the ending. Like, because we see in the ending we see Rum very anxious around her shadow. We see Sean seems to be a bit of a klutz because he can't see.
Yeah.
Because we see Sean dropping the tea, which for the longest time I thought that was his shadow throwing the tea on the ground, but no, his shadow's doing like a epic Barristan Kench-esque pose.
Exactly. It's funny you say that because you're not the first person to. You're not even the second person to tell me that because I watched this with 2 people. They also thought that, and I was like, no, hold on. I think his shadow's very dramatic, like a little too much. And Barristan Kench, for those of you who follow Lana Pator streams, I think is a very good pull for that because I think that's exactly early Barristan Grant. Point is, yeah, just like ha ha ha, look at me, dramatic noble.
Yeah, no, I get that feeling with just like hee-hoo, gotta keep a over boisterous and larger than life personality afloat because I'm a noble.
And I love his no nonsense, super pragmatic attitude, Sean. Boy plays football apparently because he just kicked that fucking phantom to like one kick, man.
I think it's just setting up that he's physically extremely fucking strong.
Yeah. And he's fiercely loyal. He's very like duty bound without losing his humanity. And
Doll manatee.
doll manatee.
Hollywood.
Hmm?
I just made a joke.
Say it again because you got cut. Yeah, say it again. It got cut out.
Dolly World.
Well, it's Barbie's world apparently, but we'll get back to Barbie. Talking about Sean, yeah, he's very loyal. He's like, wear fucking glasses, dumbass, and he's like, my master doesn't wear glasses, so as his face, I shouldn't either. And that Barbie bitch had nothing she could have said to that. She's like, and I like him. I do. I like him, and he's a very good addition to the cast because he's another face of humanity, another form of humanity.
Yeah. But you're talking about how Barbie is just angry and all that. I just because there's something in me that just like I like her. Her being a bitch, I for some reason I just want to imagine that's her having to keep a face because she is chosen to be the star bearer.
Well, you remember with her in particular when we saw her episode 1, I'm like, what if she's actually really nice, but like like they're supposed to be the faces of their shadows, right? And that's exactly what it ended up being. Like, what if her master's really mean and she's actually really nice? No, I don't fucking think so.
I'm waiting for the opposite. Her master's really nice, but she's really mean.
I mean, either that she's really nice when she's like alone and not having to have all the responsibilities, or her master's being really nice and she's just mean whenever not interacting with her. It'd be fucking great.
Yeah, and so I'm assuming the 5 kids from the ending, because we've met all the kids so far.
Yes.
Because we met the really shy one who seems to have something deeper with her Shadow Master.
Okay.
We've met.
Oh, you mean the redhead one from Emiliko's team?
Yeah, the one where in the ending we see like the Shadow like holding her chin really close. Like I'm still incredibly intrigued to see what's going on with that.
Before you fucking ship lesbians again, Meep, because gods damn you, all the gods, may they damn your soul to eternal damnation. Redundantly redundant. I'm kidding. Point is, yeah, I agree. I think she just coddles her.
That's why I said something deeper.
I think it might just be
deeper.
the master being kind of like a not a megalomaniac, egocentric as fuck. Being like, oh, look how cute you are. You're so adorable because you're me.
Lou. Her name is Lou or Lau.
Lulu.
I can't wait for her to just be like Adam and go, you're my dog.
Oh. Anyway. I mean, not even in any way because I disagree. Oh, because like, damn it, I can fucking see this happening in this show.
Prepare.
Yeah. Let's talk about Rum.
She's adorable. I love her. She's mine, and no one can ever hurt her.
Sure, it's one of my favorite alcohols.
I actually do like rum. A good rum is only succeeded by a good bourbon. But yeah.
I got a bottle of rum on my shelf all constantly for a reason.
Why is the rum gone?
Because I drank it all and I need to get more rum.
Poor fucking soft. Like, I literally in my notes when Barbie went after her, I'm like, oh no, the soft one. Like,
the fragile girl.
Also, I disagree with your take, Meep. I think that her relationship with her Shadow Master is neglect. Like, she just doesn't care that she exists.
I think she's very indifferent to her.
Which is why Rum is a little crazy and has an imaginary talking finger friend. Yubi.
You get anxious because you get neglected. Like, I wasn't saying, like, oh, the master is anxious. I'm like, no, Rum is obviously an anxious being. She's adorable and she deserves better, but...
Look at her sad little face. I like her hair design, too. I don't know what it is, but just something about her design. I'm almost positive it's her hair and her big forehead.
Yeah, it's like a messy but also styled the hairdo. It's just very cute.
It's very cute. It's very cute. And
now, how do we?
Yeah, I refuse to let this pass. We need to talk about Rum or Ram being a little crazy and like having an imaginary talking finger friend, and how simultaneously sad and potentially concerning that is.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's also I don't remember if it was the one saying doubt or the one saying reassuring her, but it was like they'll come find you.
Wouldn't you
Wasn't
be
that what
so
the
happy?
finger friend said?
How happy would you be if if they were to come find you? And she's like, and Ron was like, happiness. I don't even know what that feels like. And I'm like, God damn it,
I've
show.
never felt happiness in my life.
However, it is curious to me that the show purposely never showed us Rum's mouth when the finger was talking, because I don't, I would not put it past this show to make it that Rum isn't crazy, but she has a little phantom on her finger that talks to her.
I don't. I think they actually did show us her mouth when she was talking with the finger, and it didn't move.
I went back to look. The camera was always cutting her off at the nose whenever the finger was talking. Maybe I fucked up. I was watching it rather late in the night.
Okay, I think I thought I remember that, but maybe not. That might just been me because I was very sick when I watched it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And that chat's pointing out that that scene might have been a whole reference to Danny from The Shining.
Possibly.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Big mansion hiding out in the attic and in the crawl spaces.
I mean, could be a reference. Could just be a thing they do on their own, like a reference thing, but that also has importance. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I I really like Rum. I just want her to be happy, but
Oh,
I
there's
am
little
curious.
crunchy crunchies from your mic right now.
All right. I am curious though. How did you two like what was happening with Kate? How she was like upset that Emily Co was away?
I mean, it makes her
Make
character. It fits her character.
It makes total sense. They made a promise to study, and she's been having to go. No, I need to work for like an entire week, and like, for fuck's sake, come on. We have a debut coming up. We need to actually figure this shit out.
And Kate has
I
like some
liked it.
unique powers.
Well, I don't. I think again. I don't. As we were talking last week, I like McCon theorized. I don't think she's the only one that can do it, but that actually leads me into my next point. How did we feel about the twist with the latch being broken, and that's what caused the phantom?
I think that's either going to vindicate them and have their names cleared and improve their standing a whole bunch, or it's setting up that there's someone inside the Shadow House sabotaging it because they're not allowed to fucking leave, remember? Because we didn't talk about the hallway at all.
Yeah,
Right. They almost
oh right,
fucking
yeah,
died.
yeah. I know. Like, I think they're gonna get vindicated for like the latch thing. They're gonna be like, all right, so you didn't cause this. I'm fucking go on. No like reward or anything. It's just like, all right, fine, I'll drop it. Bye. But I definitely believe someone sabotaged it because an entire hinge just doesn't just fall off on its own when it's not in use.
Well, he did say that it rusted.
Sure, but I mean, it also needs some sort of movement to actually fall off.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the movement was the phantoms, right? The ash compiled, the soot like gathered, and then they went angry, stompy stompy after becoming a phantom and broke through.
That's fair enough. It might not be deliberate.
It might not be deliberate, but I think it'd be a bit more interesting if it was deliberate, or
Yeah.
someone still was controlling that phantom, but they because the soot was leaking from the pipe, so I'm thinking that someone may have made a crack in that pipe so that a phantom could form and they could control it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's definitely going to be there has to be more art. Super Cub, this is not. There has to be more greater level of conspiracy and organization happening inside of Shadow House.
This is a show that has set up and promised tragedy. It
Yeah.
needs to deliver on that.
I actually do have a point to make when we get to cards. And it's a bit of a meta point, but I haven't let it influence my decision.
Okay. We talked about a number of the dolls. Now let's talk about Ricky, the utter brown-nosing white knight of the fucking final five on the ending screen.
He's a second
Look,
shit.
Daddy, look, Daddy, a simp.
Uh, First of all, we're not allowed to use that term. Second of all, I don't like that term. Third of all, yeah, fucking Ricky, you fucking white knight douche. Lady Barbie, I caught you. Yes, I helped the Star Bearer, truly given credence. I am your doll and face, after all. Fuck you.
Okay, if we're not allowed to use that word, let's just go back to the analog word where we used to use before that word was a word. Internet nice guy.
Does that make Toto a nice guy?
Guy fucking sucks.
Yes.
And the weird thing is...
But Toto is a good nice guy, because he's funny.
Nice guy, my brother. The weird thing is that we now have our ensemble, right? Like, I love... Also, we didn't talk about it, but, like, Rose is such a sweetheart when she was, like, reassuring people in the beginning of the episode. I really do like Rosemary. But yeah, we have...
She's sweet.
She's really sweet. We have our main 5 dolls. We have Emiliko in the center, and then we have Lou in the upper right. I think Sean in the bottom right. Ricky in the top left, and then that would leave
Lou?
Ram in the bottom left. Those are the 5 dolls we see highlighted in the ending before the dollhouse turns off.
All right, Barbie does straight up just kick. What's her name?
Ram?
Malika? No, Mia.
No, Mia. Yeah.
Yeah, she did. Fucking, I hate her. Mia's pretty cool too. I like Mia a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
That's fine. We all know Mia can take it.
Oh.
Yikes!
Yeah. That's a sad joke.
Sad. Are we ready for cards after that sad?
Just to bring it back from the sad, there's 2 things I want to bring up before we go. One, I really like the music in this show. I very much like the music in the show. The Russian waltzes and this kind of like Professor Layton / Fable-esque soundtrack they have going across the mansion. Very cool stuff. It's good. I like.
I like the music, but none of the actual music in the actual show speaks to me. But I really love the opening and the ending.
Yeah, those are really cool. I still think I like what they did with the ending. It's a little too modern for me. I kind of kept the aesthetic, but how they click the letters or those little ceramic, they do. It's pretty cool. Show does the style well with its Persona 5 ass fucking ending. But yeah, I
Opening,
personally,
you mean?
the running down the stairs, is that opening or is that ending? I think that's ending.
I'm pretty sure that's the opening.
Pretty sure that's
No, running down the stairs is the ending.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Is it? All right, never mind.
Yeah, because I remember it was like to a very upbeat electronic. It was to an very upbeat electronic beat, and they were just like running to the beat, and it still hits me as Persona 5.
By the way, the whole song was released. It's a banger.
Nice. I need to check it out. Yeah, the music here is really good. It definitely still strikes me. It might be just the long hallways and like the Resident Evil / Professor Layton-esque setup, but I kind of like it. And the other thing is that we didn't talk about is really quick the veiled dolls. Is that what becomes of dolls that succumb to soot sickness?
Maybe, but I think they might just be built to do that and not anything else.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think there are people.
We don't know anything about them yet.
Yeah, my running theory is that they're people that have had their tongues cut out.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
I mean, they can't speak, so.
Still makes sounds when your tongue's cut out. You just can't make words.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, maybe they're muzzled then. So, by the way, after I hold up my card and everything, I'm gonna have to take a quick bathroom break. But
no worries.
I'm gonna fuck this show. It's been really good. I've been loving it. Though I will be remiss if I didn't point out, Cloverworks has been doing Clover things. They cut content specifically because this is something I've been doing with almost all Clover media now is after I watch the anime, like even with their other show they released this season, I've been doing it. I've been reading the manga a bit to see where they cut things out. They cut 2 characters out that help them search for rum. Those characters just don't exist in the anime.
Oh, like
Which,
period.
yeah,
Huh.
period. I mean, they still find rum, so I guess it doesn't have much of a detriment. It's just maybe those characters get introduced later instead, but
Were they just two characters who were out and about in the night?
I'm guessing it was just they sort of found them and they were talking to them. They helped them search for rum. So, because what I was thinking is, I'm thinking like, oh, they might know a bit more about these phantoms and mysteries than they're leading on. But yeah, that's just sort of my thoughts on it. It's again didn't influence my decision. It's just, man, Clover, why do you got to cut content?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's my vote. A fuck.
Vero. Makan, you want to go first, or should I? You want to go next, or should I?
I'm having a coughing fit. You go first.
Okay. I'm fucking this show. Shadow House, despite not giving me the dark payoff I keep wanting from it, still intrigues me with its introduction of characters, colorful ensemble, and just overall setting. The more I watch the show, the more I'm kind of settling into it, and by no means accepting of the fate of the dolls, but like just I feel like I'm starting to get comfortable with the show as is, which only makes me more ready to see what it brings out henceforth. So let's go, Shadow House. Let's see you next week because I'm curious to see what you can show us next. Either what part of the house, or what character, or what function of the world.
Whenever I sit down to watch Shadow House, it's the show I'm out of the shows I enjoy in this list. It's the show that I usually the least excited to start watching, but when I'm actually watching it, I'm having a great time and I'm enjoying every fucking second of it. And the intrigue is ramping up and it is getting more interesting. I'm still hoping we get darker with it, but it's still good. See you next week, Shadows House, for another quickie.
Man, man, you saying that made me realize I'm very close to being the same way. I'm very similar in my opinion. Like I'm like, okay, cool, Shadow House. Like I'm never like dreading it. It's not like, yeah, great, Shadow House, whatever, let's watch it. I'm always like, okay, it's Shadow House time, but it's never like, oh yeah, Shadow House, let's go, click. But when I start watching it, I'm like, yeah. Thanks, car horn outside. Yeah,
I
yeah, Shadow House.
Yeah, I usually watch them in bulk and a few episodes in bulk, and I usually never start off with Shadow House, but like after I've watched an episode or two or something else, I'm like, yeah, let's watch Shadow House now.
Yeah, no. What was the order I watched stuff this week? I remember turning on. Right, I watched Tokyo Revengers first, and then I figured since I'm already sad about Aku, and I'll just turn on Vivy. Then I watched. Then I watched the latest episode of Soma Spider. So what? But that's for after the session. One last thing about Shadow House though, that fucking bell, Barbie's Hell in the beginning was loud as fuck. I had to like turn down my volume because I was like, oh god, what the ah.
I didn't notice much of the bell being very loud, but I was watching it on my TV, which is generally quite. It like automatically like mellows out the sound, so it's not jarringly loud. So
Fair enough. So that's a trifecta for Shadow House, and that leaves us with one last show.
Which is Full Dive, episode 4. In this episode, Hero remembers why he quit track. He pissed himself and embarrassed himself in front of everyone, including an Olympic runner. Riona shows him a guide and convinces him to give the game another go by promising to fuck him daily.
Which part do we want to start off with?
Piss jokes still aren't funny.
yeah, piss jokes still aren't funny in this entire episode talking about he pissed himself.
Yep. Let's to quote ProZD. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm gonna pee. I'm gonna pee myself. I'm so scared.
You're scared, little piss baby.
I
I
hate it.
want to say I enjoyed the characterization they gave his sister. How she used to think he was her cool older brother, and even after he embarrassed himself, she was still so kind and so supportive. And Hero was just an asshole to her. I fully understand why she's a bitch to him, because Hero's just a cunt.
Yeah.
You say that, but I mean, he wasn't an asshole to her. He was momentarily very angry, and I guess she didn't let go of that because he wasn't that mean to her afterwards. If anything, I got the other thing that his sister is was kind of riding his coattails when he was a famous and popular guy because she bragged about him to her friends, and she was like, "Come on, get in the saddle again, so I can keep bragging about you."
Well,
That's a little rough there. I don't know if
yeah,
I can agree with that.
siblings do. That's what younger siblings do. They brag about their older siblings. Well, okay, I shouldn't speak in generalizations. I don't know how everyone's
Regardless,
relationships.
yeah.
Yeah, in general cases, the younger sibling will I, and in my case, it was my current roommate and my best friend. I would always brag about him to my friends because he was the cool older guy who knew how to do everything. In my mind, he was so cool, and that's how a lot of people treat their older siblings too. They brag to their friends about them.
Yeah, there was the whole thing about like it's just I think what happened was like this is like the one point of like characterization, like character development that like actually or character elaboration, expounding that I really enjoyed was just like yes, he was mean to her and he made her cry in front of his like Olympic hero who's just like you're an asshole. But there is also the fact that he just gave up afterwards, and I think that's why she resents him. That's why she's now getting upset at him for giving up on the RPG, which was so fucking stupid.
It was so forced.
It was so. That's exactly what it is. It wasn't even stupid. Like I can't even. It wasn't like ha ha stupid. It was just forced.
I got a chuckle out of that. I loved how she's like, "What? Oh my god, you're the worst." He's like, "What? You were just getting mad at me?" Because I've been in that situation where it's like there's no winning with this person, and they just flip on a dime. I get that situation every day with my mother, but I thought I actually got a chuckle out of that.
I get that situation with my sister, and she's the most obnoxious and annoying person I've ever fucking met. So yeah, I get that, and I really don't like her. I mean, if anything, that's speaking of anything, because I feel like that's basically what my sister would do. So
Yeah.
I
Before we
like
continue
it.
talking about the piss pants, let's talk about, in my opinion, the best thing about this episode. This fucking
Guy,
Danish or American fucking sportsman who's a Japanophile.
seemed a bit Danish. I'm
oh,
perfectly honest.
I was okay. I thought you were talking about the guide.
No, I will get to that too. I love this. I love this man. This absolute dumbass who just comes in. I don't know who he reminds me of, but he reminds me of a very specific character. I'm not sure if it was from Yuri on Ice or from a different show, but just this guy coming in and just speaking like not broken Japanese, but like heavily accented Japanese, and just so happy with himself about it.
Oh yeah, he's just generally a happy person. I mean, he is not doing well, but he's doing his best, and you gotta respect that.
Silver Olympic medal.
Yeah, I mean, sure it's not gold, but what the fuck? He won the silver Olympic medal. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, they did a very good job with the accent. I know who he reminds me of. He reminds me of the blonde professor from Steins Gate Zero. That's who he reminds me of. It might be actually be the same voice. I'm gonna look it up in the meantime.
I thought you were about to say he reminds you of Moriarty, and I was about to slap you.
Moriarty's not as much of a Chad as this guy is.
Yeah, that's Albert.
Anyway, yeah, no, I mean, it's clear to see that Hero was a confident person who was outgoing and felt respected. But I mean, yeah, he just gave up on everything after that moment, and I mean, it makes sense. But at the same time, it feels kind of, I don't know, weird that it happened as well. Like even if you talk
I
to
think
like be a bit late to the race if you need to go piss, so you don't piss yourself on the fucking racetrack.
That's the thing. It like the moment they showed him like there are scouts in this track meet. There are recruiters. There's a bunch of like his rival is here, and oh my god, the silver Olympic medalist runner that he looks up to is here and is giving him a pep talk saying, "Hero, I believe in you." I saw what was gonna happen a mile away. I'm like, all right, they're just setting him up to fail because fuck everything, and it's not fun for me. It's not fun. I hate it. It doesn't feel good. It just feels bad, and it's not funny to me.
Yeah, this show
I don't
continues being violently unfunny.
I don't understand why they couldn't have just had him trip and that would be like what caused that. Why did they have to have him piss himself? That's not
Yeah, that would
funny.
be enough. That would be enough. He fucking floundered and made himself look like a complete amateur in this track meet. That would be enough.
Because everyone was sympathetic for him until they realized he peed his pants, and then the world turned on him and made fun of him.
I
Because everyone who follows track, who forcibly expounds upon the track stars there, oh my god, did you hear about Heroes here? He beat the national record for the junior league. Oh, but that other guy's here too. Ugh. And then fucking, apparently all those people are horrible, immature assholes who would laugh a teenager into shame and giving up his sport because he peed himself after injuring himself.
Yeah. Is there any adult who would actually fucking stand up and laugh and go, "Hey, he fucking pissed himself"? No. No one would fucking laugh at that. That is not funny to anyone, and if anything, everyone in that crowd would go, "Oh man, no."
I mean, I'm sure there would have been a couple
yeah,
of jackasses, but yeah, go ahead, babe.
like that actually would have made okay, while the piss joke wouldn't have been funny, that would have made the joke effective if everyone was just like, oh man, if people weren't laughing at him, I feel like that would have at least been more forgivable. If people are just like, oh man, damn, that sucks, poor guy.
As the
Like,
title said,
because no one would like
as the title said, this world is shit, and the game world is even shittier.
it just it makes me upset because there's genuine things I liked in this, like the characterization of the sister, the joke with the guide. It actually got a chuckle from me. The joke with Riona, while I thought was layered on a bit too thick, it still kind of landed. It kind of didn't. It's weird, but the and when he goes back in and the girl calls him his little bedwetter, that didn't work at all. That was just weird, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, and then like a lot of the humor is also coming from Hero just screaming and yelling at things, and like that runs out quick, you know.
I,
Yeah.
Also,
depending on the way that someone like freaks out and reacts to a situation, it can keep being funny, but none of his characters kind of made me endeared to him yet, so I don't find it funny at all.
Maybe this would work better if I spoke the language. Maybe the humor would work better in English for me, but
I severely doubt it.
I mean, listen, in not Attack on Titan, in Sword Art Online Abridged, Kirito's bit is that he scream reacts to a lot of stuff, but at Sword Art Online Abridged, Kirito is a more sympathetic and better character than him. He commits. He either is a real shitbag, or which gets his comeuppance and rolls over with it, or he's like basically what I'm saying is like they're trying to do like I don't know if they're trying to do a bridge level humor, but they're trying to be constantly funny, and it's just not working out. This feels like an awkward abridged series that like someone thought like, oh my god, this is so funny. I'm gonna look how funny this is, and everyone else is just like, I don't know, dude.
It feels like Hero's personality keeps shifting. He goes from being like the dead inside, uncaring, and just giving up on the world, and then being affected and screaming and very emoting and reactive. Even though, I mean, I've been in that same state that I was ready to just give up on the world when I was younger, but like it doesn't just shift back that easily until you're doing what you used to escape, which for him would be playing video games. And it actually needs to be a game that is actually fun.
Yeah, at least he didn't pee himself in real life. He's
Oh,
gonna pee himself. He's so scared.
I'm actually happy he didn't piss himself in real life. That would have just made me feel terrible.
I'm happy about it as well, but I mean, like, it wouldn't really change anything.
Yeah, yeah. Now, also, what the fuck was that run animation when he ran to the bathroom? before meeting the Olympic medalist.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird as fuck.
You noticed that too. Like the animation was fucking weird.
Just fucking noodle arm boing boing.
Are we ready for cards?
No.
We have other things to talk about.
Yeah. We don't have to go into
All
great
right,
depth,
yeah.
but sure, Meep, you can talk about the guide if you want to.
The guide actually got some laughs out of me. The joke went on a little bit too long, but like the first few jokes were like the guy made the guide and it's like no one ever got through this guide. Well, why is that? Because the guy's just a fucking massive asshole when he was in high school. That actually got a laugh out of me, and Hero just reacting like I'm not a shithead. Fuck you. No, I'm not bald. The guy actually got
He
laughed.
just kept.
Yeah, but I mean,
Just kept screaming at a screen.
yeah, it's this thing. It's really what like a character breaking thing, since he's supposed to kind of be like uncaring and giving up on the world. Like he shouldn't have reacted at all. Like you just calling him like a dumbass and shit, and then baldy, and it's like okay, whatever.
But boobies.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
just the fucking. If anything, I was excited about in this episode was to find out what the fuck is bringing him back in the game, and it was the dumbest, most fucking contrived reason I've ever fucking seen. If anyone beats this game, I'd like to marry them. No, I will marry them. So his fucking young brain going, if I complete game, I get waifu. I get fuck her, big boobie girl.
Yeah, no. There's the sexual.
Put myself through torture. Wee-hoo.
There's the sexual manipulation.
I guarantee she's a game dev. She's will play her shitty ass indie demo that she made in college.
It is so fucking unfunny. The reasons for him still playing the game is stupid.
It really is.
Just her going like, "Oh, I won't buy the game back." I was like, just throw the fucking game away then and be done with it.
Oh, you don't want to do it with me? And by do it, I mean play the game.
I don't know about you two, but sure, she's hot, but I've seen her personality, which makes her so gross to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I
she's
can't
not-
with anything about her. It's just like, don't you want to do it with me? No, not really. No.
she's not like she's in no means a waifu for me. Like she's not. It's not a personality that I'd want to spend my life with, but her personality I do enjoy watching because unlike Rio, she isn't actually interested, and she's just a manipulative cunt. And I fully believe she's an antagonist. Can we have her as the antagonist for if we do the homework?
I mean, she's the one causing him all this fucking pain in life now, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the whole I mean, we talked about it last week to death. It's fucking stupid. And, like, the whole, like, this, like, not prime minister, but this, like, he has, like, a high level, he's a cabinet member, I think, was this, like, fucking shitlord, back in the day in his youth. Like, if I was, like, that's dumb. And, like, if I was willing to read more into the show, I would go into it, but the show's not, it's not to be taken too seriously. And I was just watching this episode, and I'm just like blinking, and I'm like, okay, here we go.
I thought he was the CEO of a company.
Is he? I don't know. I thought he was a politician.
The way they were showing him on the TV, it was like he was either some celebrity or some CEO. I don't think he was like anywhere political.
I really don't. If you guys need to hold up cards, I'm ready.
On the last.
I've talked about my sheer disgust with the girl. I think I'm done ready to hold up cards. And I mean, I think it's quite obvious. The show is atrocious. It is unfunny. It has only made one joke that landed in 4 episodes, which is horribly fucking trashy for a comedy anime. It is torturing the main character who's being drawn in by some fucking game store girl who's like, well, if you complete the game, I'll fucking marry you, but yeah, she'll keep that fucking promise, won't she? Yeah, even if he ends up doing it, you know, like fucking hell, it will kill the show.
Yeah, no, this show continues to be the show just continues to be miserable. Like, there's one thing when the show's bad, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And like, I don't get me wrong, I can okay whatever my way through this show, which I did this episode, but I was just like, Everyone is shitty. The main character's shitty. Fucking, I know. It's in the title. I don't like it. I don't want it. It doesn't make me feel good in any way. I don't get to laugh. I get nothing that is bettering my life from this fucking sad, miserable, just like everything sucks show. Knife, kill it. I don't want it. Like, Riona, you don't deserve to be so hot. Your eyes are very pretty. Like, but no, but no, but no. And like, I can't. I'm just waiting for it to turn out that there is another player of this game, and he's Hero's rival from his track meet, and he's just some really powerful guy, and he's doing better than Hero here as well, even though Hero's been playing RPGs longer than him. Man, fuck this show. It just makes me feel bad. Don't fuck it. Kill it. Knife.
I was upset by this episode because there were genuine things in it that I enjoyed. But I had a realization, I think it was a couple days after watching it, and my vote changed from what I was going to do. The Band-Aid has been ripped off. We're past the worst part. I don't see how it could get worse from here. There are genuine things I want to see. I want to see more stuff explored with the sister because I liked the characterization she got. I actually want to see if Hero does get any form of character development or if things start going his way. Because this feels like the point where it's like, okay, he's had his resolve, things are going to start going good. And there were actual jokes in here that made me laugh after the track meet. The track meet was just horribly unfunny. Call it Stockholm Syndrome if you want. I'm gonna give this one more episode. I'm gonna fuck it. It's a very, very, very tentative fuck, but a fuck nonetheless.
Meep? Fuck you.
My life is a constant whirlwind of torment and pain. You have done this to me.
It can't get worse from here, right?
It probably can't, but it can keep being this bad.
You have shit taste, Meep.
I have never given a show a rating of 1 before. This is the first show I've given the rating of 1.
Listen, I'd never recommend this to someone. I don't think this is a good show. I want to see it try, though. Here's the thing. If next episode is on par with this...
You cut out.
You cut out, yeah. Then why, Meep, says chat. Why? God's bless the spring 2021 season
Definitely
of anime.
gonna kill it.
Oh, he's back.
I said, if next episode is as bad, I'm not going to filibust. It's dying. There's no hope left if next episode is as, on the same level as this one was. There's no hoping that it gets better at that point.
So at least I have my consolation prize that it's gonna die next week if it doesn't die this week.
God's bless spring 2021 season of anime, for it is the season of anime that showed us, without a doubt, that Meep has shit taste.
Says the one that liked Seven Nights.
No, I
7 Nights is far better than this shit.
Yeah, you have nowhere to stand. You have fucked Koi Kimo, and you have kept Koi Kimo and Full Dive from the from the guaranteed executioner's block.
Hey, while Rio is still a thing in Koikimo, at least its next episode actually had fucking What's-Her-Face and the other guy actually doing some really cute stuff together. I'll get into that during Graveyard Tour.
You have fucked Koikimo and Full Dive, keeping it from the executioner's block. Listen, normally I'm always the guy who's just like, hey, you know what, if you like the show, good for you, enjoy it, whatever. But for Full Dive and Koikimo's at least fucking funny. This show, I'm sorry, not sorry. You have shit taste if you like this, because this show is literally about shit. Shitty life, shitty people, shitty humor. Sorry, pissy humor.
Listen,
But-
I am agreeing with your criticisms. It's not good, but I am sitting here going, it can't get worse from here. I liked the first 2 episodes. This episode actually had some jokes that landed for me, and I liked the characterization they gave the sister. I want to give it at least one more. I will clarify. I didn't like this episode, but I'm going to give it one more to see if it can win me back.
I mean, I agree with Meep that I don't think it can get worse. I think it's just gonna slam against the rock bottom it's hit and then crawl on like a fucking slug.
I agree with the whole sister thing, but that was decent in this show, but we're literally grasping at straws here. But the votes have been cast, and now it is time to cast the dice. Except it won't be dice, because it's time for the Wheel of Death!
Make sure to stream it on Discord so we can see it live.
Is my stream still lagging for you?
It has been every week we've done this.
Goodness gracious me.
I mean, it does for me as well. It's a few seconds behind.
Alrighty, just gonna set it up. Alright, chat, let us know. Who do you hope ends up on the fucking brink? Because personally, I'm really hoping that it's just full dive. I voted to kill Mars. I did because it was a bad episode, but I don't want to be. I'm fine with watching another episode, but that's just me.
Listen, I want it to be known, except in the fall season, every show that's been on the list of that's been on the awards of shouldn't have lived this long has been me. Although Code Black was genuinely a good show, I believe, so I'm not blaming myself for that.
So what you're saying is you are the rotten... Well, no, because Gilly was the purveyor of the... In the first season it was Gilly, but ever since then it's been you who's just keeping the fucking rotten fruit tarts alive. You just refuse to throw them out of the communal fridge, Meep.
Good show, fuck you.
The wheel is spun. And the result of today... Come on. Yes! Yes! Yes!
Oh, I get a win! I get a win, finally!
You win some, you lose some.
Good attitude.
I
Meep.
win
Good
everything!
Listen, don't worry. Next week it'll be Mars Red and World Ends With You.
That will be the tie, probably, yes, but... Guys, I was watching this episode and I'm like, oh, is this how HBI 2K Ben felt watching a lot of shit?
Oh my god. Oh, finally, I don't have to watch that fucking show. You're talking about shows that shouldn't have lived that long. I mean, I know my fucking recommendation for that award.
Sometimes you just gotta wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what are you willing to put up with today? Not fucking this.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Dice Gods and Eagle Raptor, for that reference. Thank you, Dice Gods. And the big wheel, the big chungus, the big wheelus.
Big clicky-clacky circle.
Meep, I will give you credit where credit is due. You might have shit taste, but at least you had honest reasons for giving it another chance.
Yeah, honestly, these reasons were more genuine than Koikimo, because Koikimo was just me wanting to see what the next episode brought. This was me going, no, it can get better.
I mean, Kurikimu was just me standing with a gasoline tank and a matchbox next to an orphanage, and his brain went, well, you could.
Or just with a gas canister and wearing a gas mask. Hey guys, does this smell like chloroform to you? Alright guys. Full Dive is fucking dead. You have an image for me, Meep?
I am getting it right now.
Honestly, these should be kind of prepped early on ahead.
Just get him on the table and pissed himself with a kill thing. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know which show is gonna die!
Easy there, buddy. I meant just do all of them.
No!
Go on, put the "you are dead" thing on Vivy. Do what you want.
There is, multiverse theory implies that exists somewhere.
Multiverse theory can also imply that in one reality there was a Dalaran really good love story.
Oh, you roboted out. How do you always end up roboting out at the end of the session? No, you are. Ooh.
I did get the feeling of what he said, though. He said in an alternative universe, there's a Dalaran that thinks that Korikimo is a wonderful love story.
What?
And I have to say that in an alternate universe, a Makan that thinks Korikimo is a wonderful love story does not exist. That is not a version of me that exists, and if it did, I have killed it.
But yeah, with that full dive, we bid you adieu. Good riddance. I'm sorry, I always feel bad about shitting on a show because there's probably people who enjoy it, but I really don't. I don't get it. The show's just not just very there are shows that I will say are not for me. And there's very rarely I see something and just think this is just bad. This does nothing to contribute to the betterment of mankind. Even on an entertainment level alone. It's just the only good thing to come from Full Dive is you put it up on a board with a PowerPoint presentation and with a pointer slap the board and be don't do this. This is what you don't do.
Now I just gotta go into the watch list and cross out Full Dive. Listen, I'm not upset. I'm not upset. It's dead.
Yeah, this
personally I would prefer.
This isn't a show you had emotional investment in, right?
It is not. It is definitely not. This is a show I desperately wanted to be better because I saw there could be good comedy in it because the first episode I thought was hilarious. And the second episode, while not as funny, I thought was still good. Third episode, not good. Fourth episode, at least it got a chuckle out of me every now and then. It is definitely the epitome of me scraping the bottom of the barrel, wanting more that it probably isn't going to deliver. I'm still going to check out episode 5, see if it delivers. I'll let you guys know, but we have the Graveyard Tour still.
Well, I was going to ask, do we want to do a Graveyard Tour today, or are we short on time?
I do. I have time. I still have 2.5 hours.
I'm fine. I'd like to hear a bit about what shows you guys been watching apart from the normal stuff. I haven't really been watching any other anime. Well, I've been watching one, but it's not really in the seasonal release.
Okay. In that case, for the Graveyard Tour, we do have one show to talk about in the Graveyard that we both watched, Meep, but outside of that, really only 2 things to mention. Zombieland Saga Season 2. Haven't seen the latest episode, but it's really fucking good. I won't go into it right now. It's also a show that's hard to talk about if you haven't been there with just how... If you want to see screaming humor done right, watch Zombieland Saga. And then I've been keeping up with Soma Spider somewhat, actually. And I'll talk about it next week because Spider is about to fight the Demon Lord, who I thought was actually Spider in the future, but I don't know. The show caught me. The show's got me. I'm fucking invested. It's weird. I like it.
So, since I think I was the most invested in, what happened in the last episode, 7 Nights, mind if I say what the twist was?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
They're not lesbians, they're vampires. She's just drinking her blood, totally not giving her a hickey and fingering her in the middle of the woods, even though that's how the animation made it look.
Pushed her up against a tree. But yeah, Meep, what do you... Ellen and Shirley aren't vampires. Shirley and Mia aren't lesbians. Shirley and Mia are lesbian vampires.
No, Mia is a lesbian vampire, because what they explained, a bite on the neck is kind of like a kiss, and after Nemo finds out, she fully drops Ellen and starts drinking Nemo's blood.
Yeah, that was
because everyone
really
wants
weird.
to ride Rainbow's dick.
Yeah, that was weird. That Shirley kind of got really, really warm on Nemo there at the end. Also, you can't tell me that it doesn't have a sexual subtext, because the scene zooms in, her eyes glisten when she pulls away, they're doing the sexy vampire thing where like when you bite someone, it's not a horrible Mars red like it's like kind of situation. Like they don't make it
They
blushy,
were
they don't make it super in the face, but it's there.
they make it look sexual, but in no context in the actual story or feelings of the characters is it sexual, and that's kind of what upset me. Because I wanted there to be something more, but no, it's just this shitty twist that they set up because they can't do subtlety. Where no, she's a vampire. She's not lesbian. See, after because she's already taken so much from Ellen, she swapped to Nemo. She's drinking his blood now, giving him hickeys up against trees.
The sad thing is that Ellen, instead of joining Nemo and Shirley, yes, we're going with this metaphor. Instead of joining Shirley and Nemo in the bedroom, Ellen just gets sad, and it's just like, I guess I go with the flow, which kind of like is sad in its way. Like Ellen's like, oh, Shirley doesn't need me for blood anymore. Also, is Nemo a
It,
vampire?
I don't think so, because
Do
he's
you
main boy, so he probably has some protection on his dick against vampirism.
do you remember
Like
that
this.
scene when he was about to shoot his fucking mecha arm, when his arm turned into a bloody laser, which implies that either he's part of the god of destruction or he's a vampire? It looked like he had fangs.
You act like I didn't watch this on anything other than 4 times speed.
They're not lesbians, they're vampire lesbians.
I also Art Lucas come again. I'm pretty sure Shirley did a few times.
I think the fucking premise of all this shit has made me develop a brain tumor. Huh? Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm upset that I think Shirley's hot. There's just something about the dark green hair and the red eyes that just makes me go like, yeah, that's a hot combination. I blame Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance. Damn you, Lynn.
I also watched some of Quake Chemo in 4 times speed as well.
Before we move past fucking 7 nights, so did you see Mina being the vampire or not?
I could see it from a mile of fucking way.
Yeah. Also, why didn't Nemo just shoot her in the chest with the hook instead of around her leg?
Because he doesn't want to kill anyone.
And then he just fucking Dragon Ball Z white out obliterated Mina. It was amazing. And I'm not gonna lie, the fucking hole in her chest that she had before she said the bleeding, gaping hole in her chest she had before disintegrating was kind of brutal.
I am vindicated that the show died last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have actually fucked this episode out of just the sheer absurdity of it all.
No.
Pain.
You can't get mad at me for fucking this episode full dive if you
No,
would
absolutely
fucked this.
not. I would watch seven nights over full dive any day of the week.
This was like all the other episodes, it just ended up being boring and actually upsetting at some points for me.
I don't know.
If I was forced to watch the entirety of Full Dive or 7 nights, I'd watch the entirety of 7 nights because at least I can just go in my brain instead of being fucking verbally insulted with shitty humor.
Here's the thing: I'm the type of person who would rather be upset by a show than bored by a show because at least I'm getting some kind of stimulation there.
I don't know. Wait, so you watched it sped up, right?
I watched it sped up. I don't know if it was at 4 times speed, but it was fast enough to where some animation things didn't catch me, but I was able to read the subtitles.
Yeah. Did you catch the Kingdom Hearts battle music in the church when they were fighting everything? It felt.
I never played Hearts.
Okay, it felt like a Kingdom Hearts battle, like Kingdom Hearts 1 fight. The whole setting felt like a Kingdom Hearts fight. It was silly.
That sounds like a criticism more than anything.
Either way, this whole episode was so borderline gay. Like, with Ellen and Shirley, and then that one scene when Shirley goes to grab Mina, and they have this like really close up. It was always borderline gay. It was always just on that line. And then Shirley grabbed Mina and then both of themselves on fire, which I thought was pretty fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like the show had like the "it's okay to be gay" song just kind of slowly fading in before being abruptly cut off from how you're explaining it.
It's okay to be. Let's
And
rejoice
it's
with
not,
the girl in a
and it's
gay way.
not, and it's not that it's it's not gay enough in a good well, not good way. There's not really a good or bad way that a show can be like that, but it's not like Skate where it's like, oh, okay, well, you might be able to read into that, but at the end of the day, it's mostly just your own interpretation. This is like, no, they were heavily pushing that until they heavily backtracked it and then went, no, Shirley just wants to ride Nemo's dick now.
It's funny you say that because I actually think it's the opposite of that. Like, as opposed to Skate, that was always either like it's either not gay enough or it's really gay. Fucking Seven Nights is like, to me, this episode was like straight on the fucking line.
Well, I don't want to give Seven Nights any more time. Did you have anything else to say about that episode?
Yes, it wasn't straight on the line. It was no. Okay, I'm not making that joke. Moving on.
It was gay on the line. Gotcha. So I actually watched again in like high speed one more episode of Koikimo, and main girl and the hentai boy, I forget their names, but they actually went on a totally not date to go buy manga, and it was actually pretty cute. Until Rio got involved and started stalking them. Then I checked out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, the criminal doing more crimes.
I was so upset. I was like,
I'm gonna do this high school girl a crime.
Other than that, though, I've been watching 3 shows. My Hero, simple and to the point. It's good. This season has definitely the biggest issue with this season is that you aren't seeing much. There's not much stakes. Like the biggest stake there is not anything doing with any of the main characters. But the thing I actually like about it, you get to see more of class 1B, the other class that aren't the main students. And you get to see how all of the people have evolved with their quirks, and how their quirks have gotten better. I've actually been liking that.
Oh, we're on My Hero Academia now. Sorry,
I was also confused.
I was spaced out. I thought I spaced out for a second there because I'm like, wait. Okay, cool. We get to see the side characters, and I was getting ready to ask, like, yeah, is Ryu's the sister still terrible?
No, I guess I must have cut out. I said I've been watching 3 other shows, and one of them being My Hero.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and you get to see the kids and how their quirks have gotten better. You get to see more of Class 1B, which has been nice.
Okay.
Kendo and Yaoi Rose have a little bit of a rivalry, which I thought was cute.
Okay, cool. Now that makes sense.
Yeah. Other than that, I've been watching Moriarty Season 2. Also been really good. We're on a really classic storyline for Sherlock stuff. It's
Cool.
Everyone knows it.
Cool. By the way, viewers, stay tuned. Moriarty Season 2 special episode coming soon.
And then there's the last one I've been watching has been, if it was on the list, it'd be fighting so hard for which one I liked more, but Fumetsu no Anata E, aka 2 Year Eternity. A little bit of fun fact, it was supposed to be on our fall list until it was pushed back. God, am I glad it was pushed back, because this anime is so fucking good. It's incredibly sad and melancholic, but it does things so well. While it doesn't do tragedy, it doesn't do tragedy over and over like Vivy does. The first episode itself is really tragic, and the second episode has tragedy in it, but it's more uplifting than staying tragic. And it's hard to compare the two because they're definitely 2 different beasts. Also, Del, your boy voices God in that series.
That's awesome.
At first, awesome. I cast the orb unto the earth, and it's just hearing this voice. It's like, okay, Shadow from Ikebukuro, calm down.
I mean, to me, it'll always be Kaiba and that one guy from Golden Gate, Kamui.
Fair enough, but still, I I've been really enjoying To Your Eternity. It's taking place in, I'm guessing, feudal Japan, but kind of like when there were still tribes scattered around Japan.
I don't think that's feudal Japan. That's probably pre-feudal. But yeah, no, that sounds interesting.
Pre-feudal, like kind of golden. It's same time period as. No, it wouldn't be same time period as Golden Kamuy. It's before then, but like way before then. Guns don't exist yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, guns didn't exist in feudal Japan either. At least cannons did. But these are technicalities. One day I'm going to watch the show and then we can talk about it.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
know if feudal Japan, but muskets existed in the Edo period at least.
Yeah, but the Edo period is like late.
Yeah, not too familiar
Okay,
with
so
how it kind of relates, but
it's probably before then. But Fumetsu no Inari, it's been very good. First episode make you cry your eyes out though.
Oh, okay, good to know.
I guess I can give a bit of a speaking point about the one show I have been watching that I can deem anime. Apart from the actual shows we watched for this,
The new Pokemon series.
I know, right? Now I had my good buddy Steak over like a week or 2 weeks ago, and we hung around and watched Netflix, and we just put on something and had fun, and we ended up watching The Great Pretender,
Yes!
which is a great fucking show. I've watched
Yes.
3 episodes of it so far, and it is just fucking brilliant.
It really is. It is very much Ocean. It comes out. It says it gets its influence from Ocean's 11 and similar properties.
While I've never watched Ocean's 11, from the shit I've heard about it, I get that.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. The colors are amazing. The animation is very different, but no less better than whatever. And
It started with the scuffed English, and
yes, it's so brilliant for its Japanese.
yes, it is very much how native Japanese people speak English, and I'm like, I'm kind of here for this being the entire show, but it's not that good. And as soon as I thought that, it just came up with a message like, the rest of the show will be translated in Japanese. So I'm like, oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. I do think first. Whoa, noise.
Oh, sorry.
I
had my push to talk held down by accident.
Yeah, I do think that personally, this is my recommendation. Watch the first episode in Japanese, and then after that, or even after the first half of the first episode, this is an English dub that I 100% support.
I mean, it makes sense. It's in America.
Sure.
I haven't seen the
I mean, it is set in America, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, season 2, I can't comment on.
Well,
that,
yeah, I'm only
spoilers.
3 episodes in. So.
Season 2, you might want to consider switching to Japanese because the dub doesn't carry something across. But otherwise, I actually highly recommend the English dub of Great Pretender, and I'm so glad you're having fun with the show because I love the Great Pretender.
Yeah.
What's the Great Pretender about? I've never seen it.
With no spoilers, all you need to answer is, do you like heists?
Yeah.
And
It is very much just like that's a good like answer for just a general feel, but and synopsis I would give it. It's a show about con men and the life of kind of a con man and how they work, and it is a show that escalates fast and the stakes get raised so high, and it's about 2 people always trying to outwit each other, and it's
so Steak got high while he was watching it. Oh, I see.
Okay, what?
God damn, because you watched it with Steak.
Yeah, you said the stakes got raised to being so high.
Yes. No, that's just me, just a hanging Steak over the roof.
Because
I just put it in chat, but regarding the English dub, like, don't get me wrong, the original Japanese dub is really good too. It's a lot of fun. Every character is, voiced nicely. I think the casting is done well. But with the English dub, it's it's the case of having a multi international studio doing an English dub. You get a lot of accents and a lot of fun thrown in that way. So it's again recommended in both.
Oops, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna ask. You asked if I like heists. Are its heists as fun as Akudama Drives is stealing the Shinkansen?
Without it's where Akudama Drive's charm was in its bombastic action and dynamics. Here it is clever. Don't get me wrong, it's bombastic, but it is really clever.
Do they have a fight? Do they have a fight on a train where the weak character slams a chair over a police officer? Hoodlum coming in with the steel chair.
By gods!
Bug out! Other
yeah.
than that, it's not really anime, but a webcomic I read quite a long time ago now called Sweet Home. I watched the first episode of that's live action remake. There's a lot of shit that didn't translate well, but god fucking hell is it horrifying.
Sweet Home Alabama?
Yes, guys.
I will say this: if we're talking about webcomic adaptations, The Way of the House Husband, it was.
That's not a webcomic. That's
it was
a manga.
Sorry. If something, yeah, I crossed the wires with that because it's meant. Yeah. So anyway, it is animated comic, but Netflix marketed as an anime because big brain, big pocket marketing directors who are out of touch with their consumer base were like, we need to sell it as anime because people like anime. It's not an anime. It's very not animated. I do think that there were certain parts that needed a little bit more animation, but by gods, is that show fucking funny. Wow.
Yeah, I've read the manga. The show is just the manga with voice acting and color. It's fucking brilliant.
It's really good.
Because it's not that long. Me and Stay kind of sat down and watched that before we watched the two. Well, he watched 2 episodes of The Great Pretender with me, and I watched one when he went home. Nice. But we watched the entirety of The Way of the House Husband first, and that was he hadn't read the manga, but he fucking loved it.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
I'm personally more excited for Chainsaw Man because it's being done by Mappa. Mappa is a fantastic studio. Because I don't know if I've ever said this on the stream, but the reason why Mappa is so good, most of the people that used to work at Madhouse now work at Mappa. Because Madhouse was heavily overworking its employees to where most people went, yeah, we're just going to go work for the studio that your other co-founder founded.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because Mappa was co-founded, because Mappa was founded by one of the co-founders of Madhouse. Which is why you never see anything from Madhouse anymore.
And before Cleaver Works, or Cleaver Studios.
Cleaver Works?
Yeah, Cleaver. No. Also, Mappa does Zombieland Saga. Looks very different from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yep.
But you can see the similar
Jujutsu Saga.
Jujutsu Land. Zombieland Kaisen. Yeah, no, you can tell you can see the similarities in terms of their comedy timing, except Zombieland Saga is almost all comedy, except for episode 2 of season 2, which made me cry. But yeah, that's all I really have to talk about this week.
Mm-hmm. Full Dive is dead, so
good fucking readings.
Hooray.
I'm probably still gonna watch episode 5, but if it's still as bad, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch it anymore. But I'll let you guys know how it is next review tour.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for you to inform me of what I already know, that it's gonna be completely shit.
I'm gonna be upset if Meep comes in like, yo guys, this episode's fucking fire, and I would have been like, God fucking damn it, no.
I come in, hey guys, Hero got some really good character development. He lost his bedwetter title, and everyone ever in his life apologized to him. And Riona is actually sucking his dick daily now.
I mean, it's not a fucking way of making up for everything she does. He's still going through torture because of her.
I mean, yeah, but it's hentai now.
Okay.
Meep, where can they find you?
At soul_king777, reposting porn and posting porn that I've commissioned. But I've actually been taking a break from commissions lately as money.
Money, yes.
Dalaran, I thought you were gonna say, speaking of how time beef, where can we find you?
Jeez.
Beautiful.
Speaking of longboats, Makan, where can they find you?
Sailing over the ocean towards Britain to infect them with whatever disease I have and steal all their money. But you can also find me on Twitter at _Viking, reposting possums and other bullshit I find. It's usually some good shit I can come across whenever I'm on Twitter, which hasn't been in like 2 weeks now. Yeah, apart from that, come fight me in the woods.
Come fuck you in the woods?
That too, but fight me first.
Wait, but you can't infect England. They have vampires.
So, who says Vikings don't have vampires as well?
Oh god, vampire Vikings.
God brand!
That sounds intense.
And speaking of Bones making a vampire anime next season, it actually looks half decent.
Oh.
It actually love it, considering summer season is usually a crapshoot.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But until then, as always, I have been Dalaran Quest. Catch me on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter at Dalaran Quest. That's DALARON Quest. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Later today at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing Drungeons and Dragons. Going to be doing a bit of D&D, so that's going to be fun. And I might do a post-birthday stream on Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise, check me out on Twitter, check me out on YouTube, check out my voice reel where you can actually see me putting in effort and projecting properly, not the lazy shit I do here. And yeah, that's all that I have going on right now. Fridays, I do at Final Traumatics channel on Twitch. I do a D&D playthrough. If you guys want some morning D&Ds, come on down, and you can see me hosting on my server, and you guys can see me hosting his channel on my channel here on Twitch if you guys want to see us play some Humblewood.
Well, me and Meep are not worth your best effort, huh, Dal?
Shut up. And with that, let us find someone to raid. But until then, bye everyone. Thanks for coming and hanging out.